Good morning. Welcome. Today is Monday, May 28th. Let me double check that. All right. No, it's Thursday, May 28th. I'm sorry. I want to. I'm going to call the Municipal Services Committee to order. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll? Here. All right, thank you, Madam Clerk. First, I want to start out by thanking the committee. We are having a special hearing. Monday was the Memorial Day, so we couldn't have our normal Monday hearing. So today we had to settle for a Thursday. I wanted to get it in before the end of the year, before the committee of the whole, before we go on vacation. So I really do thank the committee for coming in on Monday. Let's start off with Parks and Rec. Can we start off with Parks and Rec? Welcome, Director.
Good morning, thank you.
All right, I'm going to start off with ordinance number 614-2026. This is by Council Members Bishop, Starr, and Griffin. This is a departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing Director of Parks and Recs to enter into one or more contracts with Case Western Reserve University to provide a youth summer sports, nutrition, health, and life skills development program for 2026 under the National Youth Sports Program supported by Case Western Reserve University. All right, Director, this is a piece that we've seen many times before.
Good morning to the chair. Thank you very much for having us today. This item is something that we've had for many years. This is the National Youth Sports Program, which is housed at Case Western Reserve University. It's an excellent opportunity for us to support our summer programming with our youth, and today I have with me Dennis Harris to share additional information, and he has been operating this program for many years. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Okay.
Yes. First of all, I'm just glad to be here. Once again, I'm proud to be. I'm a resident of Cleveland. We had this program. We're the only program left out of 200 universities and colleges that had this program. And with the funding and the support of City of Cleveland, we have kept this program going. We are so fortunate. They are making a big documentary on this program. We have served thousands and thousands of children from greater Cleveland area, and I'm just so proud to be here and to be in front of my great colleagues from the City of Cleveland, because you guys have stepped up and supported a great program, giving children a chance to be on a college campus. An 8-year-old child being on a college campus is something so important. I know when I went to college at Ohio State, I was my first time ever walking on a college campus. Now, I've been so fortunate to see children who've been in our programs. Now, some guys are professional NFL players. Some guys have been nurses, doctors, you name teachers, homemakers, engineers, have all came out of our program because we gave them the right start. Being on a college university where they eat what the college students eat, they can we teach character development, leadership development. We definitely have the sports skill, but we do a lot for our children of Cleveland. And I'm very, very fortunate because we've had 15 countries try to emulate what we do. Councilman Bishop, you was there when the country of Azerbaijan came. They wanted to copy what we do. So I'm just so fortunate to be a Cleveland resident, and I think it's one of the jewels of Cleveland, the National Youth Sports Program at Case Western Reserve University. And the ages are 8 to 16, and we're still looking for great children from Cleveland to sign up for our program. It's a great program, great opportunity.
All right, thank you for that, Coach. Director, is this award the same award we gave him last year?
To the chair, I need to double check. I believe that the ask is commensurate with what we had done in the past.
Okay, all right. All right, I'm going to open this up for questions from the committee. Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the director or to the coach, Can you tell us how many kids, how many kids are in the program? How many of those kids are Clevelanders?
Well, we're in the program because we do not only just do the summer program, we even partner with the recreation department, and we add an extra. So we have probably around close to under 300 to 400 kids. Because we open up when the universities close, we partner with Jim Jones, and we bring kids in and during Christmas time. So we're looking at close to probably about, I'd say just under, would you say about 350, 400 kids.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
All Cleveland.
About under probably all Cleveland, probably about 340 or something like that. If you count the children that we bring in during Christmas time, that's definitely all Cleveland.
Okay, and then, Mr. Chairman, to the coach, can you tell us exactly what the program is?
Without a doubt, Councilman Casey. It's the National Youth Sports Program. It's a sports kill program. Not only do we allow sports, we have an education enrichment program, and we hire some of the best teachers, professors. We have one young lady working from NASA. She's coming in and teach the kids about STEM programs. So it's not just sports. It's the education component that we have that's so important. Civic leadership, teaching kids why it's so important to vote. That's so important. Teaching them about the love of Cleveland, because who's teaching Cleveland history? I'm a history person. We're teaching Cleveland history. Be proud of your community. Be proud of where you're from. Those are things that we're doing. It's not just a basketball camp where you run up and down. We have 10 different sports, but it's the education component that we use that's so great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
All right. Is there any other questions? Council President.
Just briefly, to Director Nichols, has all of the organizations, CMSD and NYSP, received their allocation from last year that we allocated to their programs?
Through the chair to the council member, I appreciate that question. CMSD has received their allocation, and I need to, I will say that check was cut on the 21st. I need to confirm that it has been received.
Of this month?
Of this month, yes.
Okay, so that's good news. Did NYSP get their allocation already?
I need to double check. I believe NYSP received their allocation from 2025, and I need to double check on NLI and make sure that they also received their allocation.
So we allocated these dollars when last year?
I need to take a look. I believe that it went to committee and council over the summertime, and then there was a delay in our processing of the contract, which has delayed our ability to process the payments.
Okay, well, that's the reason that I'm asking, because one of the things that we're running into multiple problems with is that people are calling us saying that we passed legislation, we allocate the dollars, and then they come back 8 months, 12 months later, in some cases even more, and say we haven't received any allocation yet. And that's not a good business practice or process. So I would love to understand how we're cutting the red tape to make sure that we can speed up these processes, and what might be the delays so that we know as a council where we might want to make investments when we do the budgets, because these lag times are really challenging. And I just want to say with Coach Harrison closing, NYSP is probably one of the best programs that this city has seen. My children, all three of them, even though they're grown, have all attended before I was even a council person. And they do a lot around not just the athletics, but the character and everything else. So I'm a big supporter of this program. I just want to make sure we understand how we can get the dollars out the door a lot faster.
Absolutely, I appreciate that comment. We are a relatively new department, and we have spent time trying to get our feet on the ground. I feel like there were a lot of processes that were just unknown. I've spent a lot of time through this calendar year understanding and learning the legislative and contractual process and looking for those gaps where I feel that we were not providing the best service to the community. And it is my goal to improve our ability to pass legislation and get those contracts moving in a more expedited manner so that we can get payments out the door faster. So I do appreciate your comments. It's certainly a very strong concern that I have as well. Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you, Council President. Is there any other questions?
Yes, Council.
Councilwoman Gray.
Yes, hi, thank you, Chair. I just want to say, this program is really one of the best programs that I also attended for the last 3 or 4 years, being introduced by Council President, and I actually come every year to participate and hang out with the kids. So, Coach Harris, could you explain the process of the program, how our children can apply for this, and how soon they can get in order for you to keep the numbers that you just stated, that is over 340 kids from the city of Cleveland,
we are-
and we can grow more? Chair to the coach.
Well, one thing that's so important, we have still taken children from Greater Cleveland. I love Cleveland. I live in Cleveland. We have flyers. We still take an application. Here's my beautiful assistant, Monique. What were we going to tell about that aspect of it? How we still taking? We're up 24/7 taking kids.
Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, everybody. I just want to say thank you for your
Yes.
time. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
My son was in this program for 8 years, and so I can testify to my faith in the program, you know, enrolling my child in it year after year after year, and now being an employee here at Case Western Reserve for the National Youth Sports Program. So I just can't say enough of how much I appreciate you guys' support. To answer your question, you can register online. We have flyers here. You can access by scanning the QR code. It takes you directly to the online registration. I can also send you guys a link to our website, as well as the flyer for registration and the flyer for the talent show. So, yeah.
And we're still taking children from Cleveland. I love Cleveland. I give people my personal cell to get kids in. That's how serious I am about this program. Children 8 to 16 is a great opportunity. My grandchildren are in the program, so I'm looking forward to seeing more students from all the different wards in the program. Definitely. Please take advantage of it. Please take advantage. It's a jewel.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and
All right.
so.
Yes, Ms. Gray.
Yeah, so even though, Chair, to the coach, even though you said that we can do a QR code, but how can other parents assign their kids up and get on the line on the website to apply for this program? Because I introduced the program to a lot of the youth in previous Ward 4, which is now Ward 3. However, we got a lot of kids that's still not aware of this summer program and how many weeks it lasts for them to get to it, you know, the traveling. How can they get to the program due to lack of traveling and transportation from the parents to this program? Could you elaborate a little bit more on
Excellent
that?
question. First of all, the program runs from June 8th to July 10th, from 8 o'clock to 1:30. We do not have transportation. Years ago, when we had federal funding, we had transportation. We'd pick them up throughout the city. We don't have the money for transportation. But we have to get the children off the streets of Cleveland. And I'll do anything I can to get them off. That's why I fight so hard. I've been at the university this summer 44 years fighting for our kids. We have to get them off the street. And if I have to come to your ward and find them, I will do that. I'll come to each and every last one of these wards to get these children off the streets of the city of Cleveland. East side, west side, southeast, northeast. We have to do that. That's so important. And we have registration coming up this Saturday and this Sunday. But if we have to extend it, we'll do it. But we want to fill up Cleveland kids. We want Cleveland kids.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Chair. I just wanted him to elaborate on how passionate they are about the program and how great it has been, for this long. So thank you. Thank you,
I
Coach.
just want to add also, if there's no internet access, and they can't, parents can't access via the web. They can come in person, and we will register them in person. So we have registration this weekend on Saturday and Sunday.
Okay, and the registration is where, Chair, too?
That's-
It's where?
It's at Case Western Reserve University. It's on the flyer. It's at the Smith Auditorium. So, like, we understand some parents don't have internet access. We have our staff. You come there, we'll get them in, and we have free parking. You pay for nothing. Free parking, free medical screening, the free cafeteria, the lunch where we feed them. Everything's free. Like I said, residents of Cleveland is just $95.
Okay.
And we'll get them there. And please, I want a line there Saturday and Sunday. East Siders and West Siders. That's what I want.
All right, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman. Is there any other questions for the coach? All right, seeing no further questions, is there any objections? Seeing no further questions, ordinance number 614-2026 is approved. Please sign it. All right, next up is ordinance number 618-2026 by council members Bishop, Starr, and Griffin. This is a departmental request. An emergency ordinance authorizing the Director of Parks and Recs to enter into a contract with the Northeast Ohio Muni Football League, also known as the Cleveland Municipal Football Association, doing business as Cleveland Muni Football League, to conduct a citywide youth football program. Okay? All right, Director, you want to start us off?
Great, thank you. I'm here today to request approval and authority to provide financial support to the Cleveland Municipal Football League. This is a program that's been around for many years, and it provides opportunity for our youth to participate in football, gain life skills, learn about camaraderie, and a variety of other skills that are important for them to be productive adults. I have with me today Mr. Joe Record, who is the president of this organization, and he can share a few additional comments relative to the program.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. For giving us this time. With me, I have Jason Dunn, who's the director, and to my right is John Good, who's the vice president, and Darnell Banks is the assistant director. And I'd like to let you guys, Darnell, okay. I'd like to say this is it for me. I'm done after this year. Jason will move into direct as president. So the funding request was turned in some time ago. So Chairman, I'm ready to answer whatever questions you have.
Okay. All right. Well, Mr. President, thank you for your service. How long have you been president of this association?
This would be my 32nd year.
32nd year?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was playing in the muni football, I don't think that you were the president at that time, but I want to thank you for 30-some years of really valuable, super valuable services to the kids of Cleveland that are a lot of them are adults now, and they have benefited from muni football. And and it would be nice if we had a few of them here and I can do it for them, because I'm telling you what, I played a couple of years, 2 or 3 years in the Muni Football League, and it taught me some valuable lessons about sports, competition, discipline, just the whole 9 yards, and having teammates and being proud, and taught me how to win. So I want to thank you for your service in the Muni Football League, and I want this league to be around another 30 years. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions from my colleagues. Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to the president, again, also thank you for your service and the time that you've spent, and not only being an influencer and a leader, but molding the young kids. And I know every year for the last 12 years, we've had a conversation about weight limits in Muni Football League. We're not doing weight limits anymore or anything like that, I would assume, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and then every year we also have a conversation around the dollars that we allocate for you. Is 160,000 enough? And how many kids are in the? I know what you're going to say. 106. How many kids are in the league? And do you have it broke down the kids in the league by ward where the kids are coming
Yes,
from?
we do. We have that. That's information the director, Jason Dunn, has that. And the league has really grown in where parents and kids are asking for more activities. So if I could mention it, flag football has really taken off. And if you wouldn't mind if I let Jason
Absolutely.
fill council in on what's going on with it, Jason.
No, you got to turn it back on.
Turn it off.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Okay, we go. Chair to the councilman. Yeah, so, with the ever-evolving world of youth sports, we're looking at opportunities to keep these kids active year-round. I know Muni football has been around for over 100 years. I played Muni football growing up, and it's been a big staple in my life. And, the reason where I'm at today. So flag football, we started just as co-ed, predominantly boys back in 2017. And if you look at the shift now, girls are dominating this nationwide. The Cleveland Muni Football League right now has the largest pool of girls playing flag football in this region. And that is only going to continue to grow. We started flag football with the girls 3 years ago with just 2 teams. Went from 2 teams to 17 last year. This year we're playing with 38 all-girls teams.
Wow.
And we left a lot of kids out once we closed registration. So we're going to roll over into a fall league because the demand is there. We're still getting calls. Parents are kicking down the doors to get these girls involved because they're coming out, they're visiting social media, they're seeing what we're doing with these girls. And I just want to mention basketball. We started a winter basketball program this past winter that Coach Darnell Banks, spearheaded. And we're also rolling out a summer track program. So our goal right now is to keep these kids busy year-round and just tap into opportunities that these kids normally wouldn't be able to afford because of the AAU circuit. We want to create something affordable here at home for these children.
All right, and Mr. Chairman, to Mr. Dunn, I would guess if you could get us the breakdown by wards.
Absolutely.
Where I'm interested to see where the kids are coming from. I'm hoping that it's throughout the whole city.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but if we need to recruit somewhere where kids are missing out or they don't know about it, I believe we can help. And then my last question, Mr. Chairman, to the presenters is, and I mentioned the money, right, and I think we should be doing more, but the Cleveland Browns, we've had this conversation in the past. Do they contribute to the league?
John Good, who's sitting on my right, and we met with the Browns last year, and we put a proposal in front of them asking for 80,000, was it, John? 100,000, and we got nothing.
So, Sean, when you write the article, I want you to make sure that part of the article is that here we have a youth sports program in the city of Cleveland that primarily focuses on football and flag football now. We see it's so good. And Cleveland City Council is gracious enough to take our taxpayer dollars to support these kids because it is the right thing. And the billionaire owner of the Cleveland Browns has refused to help provide financial assistance for the youth and the kids of the city of Cleveland. I appreciate your candor. Not a lot of people would admit that sitting on that side of the table, but I felt comfortable asking that you would answer that question. I already knew the answer.
My last year.
Yeah, it's your last year, so what do you care, right? Hey, Mr. Dunn, he's leaving you with something. So, but I think that needs to be pointed out. Right, is that, we just received an email from Dee Haslam saying how wonderful they are in their contributions to the city of Cleveland and greater Cleveland area. But here we sit, the most needy kids in the city of Cleveland with the sport that they represent, and they're contributing absolutely $0. So if we could talk amongst each other and we could get you more for next year, please ask for more.
All right. Let me add to that. Jason has been dealing with the Browns directly for the last 9 years
About
now?
9 years now.
About 9 years. So he could tell you about some other things that the Browns is doing other than dollars.
That's fine. Dollars is what we're here for today, right?
that's
And then
fine.
you're not asking us for uniforms or anything like that. You're asking us for dollars,
dollars, right.
And
Okay.
that's the bottom line.
I just-
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you guys, and congratulations again on your retirement, and good luck to you guys moving forward.
Thank you.
I didn't. I
They give us the usual honest stipend of $20,000. We asked for more, and they responded with, we'll have to look down the road for that. Okay.
down the road.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you,
But thank you, Council.
Thank you, Councilman Casey. I was next on the list, so I won't need 10 minutes. I'll just say briefly, I'm excited that you are here. I'm happy to vote in favor of this. I want to acknowledge Councilman Starr, I believe, brought an $80,000 increase to this budget when he came into council as one of his priorities, and I was happy to see that increase. I'm from Canton, Ohio, about 4 blocks from the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and football's not optional in Canton. You will play. And I'm glad that the girls, the young ladies are playing flag football, but I think that it's worth pointing out that boys gravitate to different sports based on sometimes personalities. Football is one of the rough and tumble ones, right? There are some young men out there that they got that energy, right? And this is an environment for them to express their physicality in a way that is supervised by adults. I've never been on a football field that didn't have a fight break out. I've never seen a fight not attended to immediately by adults that can teach kids how to navigate those waters and deal with those conflicts. It's a fantastic learning opportunity for kids that got to learn one way or another how to deal with some of our intensity, right? Especially some of these young boys. I was one too, a very intense little kid, right? And it was coaches that sort of directed me into how to resolve conflict and how to deal with those things. And I know that you guys are out there every single day doing that with our youth, and I couldn't be prouder or happier to support this operation, this program. Even if the billionaires in town don't want to, I'm happy to see that the people of Cleveland step up. So I have no questions. Thank you for what you do. And I'm just going to remember that I can start saying through the chair to Sean. I'm going to use that one a little bit later. But thank you for being here and for everything you do.
Thank you.
Next up is Councilman Shop.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I actually had a couple questions regarding how we were adjusting with, what we see with the rates of concussion, but I think it's been adequately answered with the shift and the encouragement towards flag football. It's, I think, a really positive development, and I'm happy to support. And I actually don't really have any questions other than to point out that we know once again that the billionaires are not going to do anything voluntarily, and that's why we should be taxing them. So thanks a lot, Vice Chair. I yield.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Shaw. Councilman Starr.
Thank you, Cleveland Muni League. Like you heard from some of my colleagues, I too did play Muni League football from age 8 up until about 13 years old. One of the important lessons that it taught me is the leadership as well as a commitment to something, whether it's good or bad. Some days it was great, some days it was rough. Especially when you start talking about June 1st, when it's time for conditioning to start to get out there. So one of the things I think is important to know is that obviously Muni League has been around for more than 100 plus years in the city of Cleveland. And now you have expanded essentially through Northeast Ohio, providing its services to families, neighborhoods, recreational centers, and also other opportunities that helps the youth. I believe that as early as 6 years old, children should be exposed to sports. I think that is an opportunity for us to be able to figure out where our kids fit or what they like or what they enjoy. And what I mean by sports is not just necessarily football. We need to expose them to different volleyball, soccer, rookie tackle, flag football, also basketball, different initiatives just to be able to find out what's going on. And one of the things people don't understand about sports is it is an opportunity for a kid to learn and develop teamwork. A lot of this I is upon our kids and is doing more harm than good. And all of this, I want to be a participant and never work for nothing, just participation, this and that, doesn't help our kid. Because in this world that we live in, it's cold. It's really cold. And if you don't have the tenacity, or you don't have the grit, and you don't have the will to take on things that you're not good at and work towards a common goal, you're going to get swallowed up, and eventually it's going to show up as an adult. So I am a big, proud sponsor, a supporter of ordinance number 618, 2026, obviously authorizing the director of Park and Recreation to enter into a contract with the Northeast Ohio Muni Football League, aka Cleveland Municipal Football Association, because I believe this program is great. This is something that I advocated from 2022 to increase funds. And I know normally each year we do pass a PIF around. So I don't know where our staff is at. I definitely would like to get a PIF going around because we usually add additional dollars. But my question I would definitely ask off that PIF in addition to the director as well as to the Muni. Some of the things that people don't talk about is how many kids are participating through the chair to Director Dunn in Cleveland Muni League program from rookie tackle, flag football to tackle football through the chair. How many kids do you have as far as a number of students participating in all of the programs such as football and cheerleading that you offer? What's the estimate number of youth that are participating?
Through the chair to the council member, if you look at it in totality, year-round service, you look at nearly 4,000 kids now.
So nearly 4,000 kids are participating in Muni League's program. And through the chair, so I take it that obviously flag football start end of March, going into up until end of May. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then from June to possibly November, our kids play tackle football.
Tackle football, and then we're going to be integrating track in there as well during the summer.
So roughly estimate from March until November, you have programs available for youth to participate, boys and girls through the chair.
That's correct.
So I definitely would like to work with you offline as well as Director Nichols, as well as my colleagues, to figure out how do we as a city really double down on our investment, as well as set the stage that we want to make sure our kids have something to do. We want to make sure there's no financial burden, but also ask other people, as other philanthropic people to get involved, and organization to get involved, so you're not out there trying to raise money on your own, where you have the support and the backing of the city, as well as other different initiatives. So from you being able to say you got programming from March and November, I would love to explore other opportunities, because I believe some of my best mentors was my Muni League coaches. And if they were able to get 4,000 kids up off the streets into something productive, what else can we do after November? I know after November we start going into basketball.
We start basketball.
So, how do we get into a basketball program where you run in the basketball league? Because obviously the kids are gravitated and they know these coaches. How do we put something in place where we can be talking about employment opportunities to make sure these coaches are there? We have to do something different to make sure we are investing in our youth, but we also investing in those individuals who are spending their time and giving their energy and effort to these kids, so we can have it something year-round where we know where they are at, and they continue to be those mentors that we need to do. So I definitely do support this ordinance 618. I did look forward to meeting with you, Director, offline, so we could come up with a strategy to go with that approach of making sure we fund Muni League football, but also all the other sports that Muni League are capable of doing. Everybody can say they can run a league, but if you ain't got the kids and the kids ain't buying in, how you gonna be a coach? And I know that you and Muni League coaches have the children. Let's continue to piggyback off that investment and be able to make sure that we put our kids as a top priority. And I yield, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Starr. Councilman Starr, I really appreciate your advocacy over the years for youth football. Is there any other questions on Councilwoman Gray?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just want to say this is a great program. I get it for the kids, but I want to say one more thing, that I'm glad to hear that you have flag football for the girls. My granddaughter that lives in Virginia, she's on the flag football team there, and she is one of the number one players on the team. They always send us videos. I was shocked to see how well she plays. She a tough cookie, and I was like, my goodness, but that is a game that the girls are now really loving to do. So my question, Chair, to the team is, when did the flag football start for the girls? Chair, to whoever want to answer that question.
Okay, through the chair to the councilwoman, we started flag football for the girls, 26 and 23.
23?
Yeah.
Okay, and how?
No, I'm sorry, 24.
24,
Yes, I'm sorry.
24. So how would a lot of the young girls, and what's the age range, how would they know more to contact, who to contact to participate, in the flag football? Chair, co-chair to Mr.
Director Dunn.
Director Dunn, okay.
Yeah. So they can visit our website, which is www.cmfleague.org. We do a tremendous job of getting the information out to the schools. We do have a great partnership with CMSD and the athletic department as far as the recruitment of girls. Okay. And we encourage those coaches, the PA teachers to get involved in the schools. Yeah. We actually have a few schools that have personally brought girls along to us for sign-ups. Social media, we have a big presence on social media. Whether it's X, Instagram, Facebook. So the word is definitely getting around. Like I said, we have a waiting list right now of parents, who just missed the deadline for springtime, which now, we had a need to do a fall session for the girls. Like I said, we started the flag in 24 with just 2 girls teams.
Wow, okay.
Last year, we had 17.
Okay.
This year, we have 36. And 38. And we start with the girls ages 6 all the way up to 14.
Okay.
OSHA, Ohio High School Athletic Association,
Okay.
just made that a varsity sport this year, the newest varsity sport.
Wow.
There's opportunities right now. A lot of colleges, the NCAA just named it an emerging sport.
Wow.
So that is
Awesome.
now a scholarship opportunity for girls who's going from youth to high school to the collegiate level. And again, we are the largest in the region right now with youth because we've seen that opportunity, and it's also an Olympic sport now for the young ladies.
Yeah, wonderful.
So,
Like I said, my granddaughter loves it, and just to see her out there playing and becoming a winner, to win, it's just awesome. So what is the age range of the girls?
So from 6 years old.
Chair to the director.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we have 6U, 8U, 10U, 12U, and 14. So it basically covers the ages. It can start as early as 5 years old. We have one 6U team. I didn't think that we get a big sign up of 6-year-olds. We have a 6-year-old girls team right now. That's competing against boys, and these girls are number one in their division. They lost 1 game all year, played 7 games. Yeah.
Tough cookies.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So where do co-chair to the director? Where do the girls play?
Okay. So. I'm inviting all council out this weekend. This is our final weekend of flag football play. This is our championship tournament. We end the season, really trying to, honor the kids and do it tournament style. So we play our games at James F. Rhodes High School and John Adams. So we'll be out there all day Saturday. Then first game starts at around 8:30 a.m. Last game, I think, starts around 5:30. So, from 8 to 6 o'clock, we're out there both days. Sunday, we're at John Adams only. That's our championship round.
Okay.
So it's going to be real festive. A nice environment for the kids and the families.
Okay, well, hey, I love it. Congratulations to the program. I do support it, and I am so happy to hear how much the young ladies and the young girls and teams are now invested into this program. So thank you for that information. Thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Go to Council President. I'm going to come back to you, Councilwoman Hudson.
Thank you. Just very briefly, for all of the council members, I know that I put out an email about last week, but I am going to be putting together some NEF funds in order to support the expansion of what they're doing because of the alternative sports like track, basketball, girls sports, which is incredibly important. So they have a proposal that I'm going to encourage them to share with everyone. Of course, I want them to make sure that they do it in coordination with Director Nichols and the Parks and Recreation Department and Commissioner Gisson-Tanner. So I know that they've been meeting and talking with them about how they can integrate this. But I am committing some dollars. I believe Councilman Starr has said that he is joining me on this as well. So anyone who would like to join in that effort, the goal is to raise approximately $50,000 to $60,000. So that's the goal. So anybody who might want to put up some NEF funds or any other funds, I'm passing the hat. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Council President. Really appreciate those extra funds. I frequent John Adams, and I see the kids out there. I see the crowds out there on Sundays. So I do really appreciate your organization engaging and teaching our children of our community. Councilwoman Nikki Hutz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have an 11-year-old son. He turns 12 this summer, and he played flag football, basketball, baseball. My daughter ran track. So I understand how important it is for our young people to have something to do. In particular, with my son, it's what keeps him off of video games. So it's very important. So my question is, how many kids are on your wait list through the chair? How many kids don't make it because they don't because there isn't the capacity?
Okay. Through the chair to the councilwoman, I'm gonna say roughly after registration ended, we probably had an additional maybe 50, parents that was reaching out. So some of them with multiple kids.
Okay.
You
Okay.
know. But they will, they will have an opportunity to participate come fall time.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And through the chair, with the additional money that the council president has mentioned, would that help, make sure that there's room for these kids to participate so that everybody has the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yes.
and thank you. I just want to add that I'm also happy to contribute to the additional with my discretionary funding as well. It's a very worthwhile program.
Yeah, thank you.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Is there any other questions for Muni football? All right, seeing no further questions, ordinance number 618-2026 is approved. Please sign it. All right, ordinance number Ordinance number 617-2026. This is by council members Bishop, Starr, and Griffin. This is also a departmental request, an emergency ordinance authorizing Director of Parks and Recreation to enter into an agreement with the Neighborhood Leadership Institute to implement educational, recreational, and cultural programs in various school buildings and other facilities during evening hours, provide leadership training, and supervise the summer tennis program. All right, Director.
Thank you, Chair. Happy to be here today to request legislation and authority to continue to work with Neighborhood Leadership Institute, which has provided fantastic programming to the community for many, many years. The ask for this year is the same as the ask for last year. Their programs, as you indicated, are educational. They support youth development, adult development, and really just help to strengthen our neighborhoods. With me today is Director Travell Harp with the organization, and I will allow him to provide a brief overview and to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Director. First and foremost, I'd just like to just show appreciation for this long-time partnership with the Department of Park and Recreation for the City of Cleveland. And so the programs that we do with resources that we have, we do a total of 3 programs. The first program is School as a Neighborhood Resource. And basically, I guess way before my time, there was a community organized around recreational programs in areas that didn't have a lot of recreational opportunities. And I guess the theory of change that they came up with is, why don't we tap into the social capital within the community to provide recreational programs and utilize the spaces throughout the school district to be able to use those, repurpose those for recreational programs on off hours. And so we literally hire roughly about 60 residents on a contractual basis to actually tap into the social capital that they have there. And so if somebody, does basketball, somebody teaches tennis, somebody sews, somebody teaches feminine hygiene or other different types of things, tutoring, et cetera, we can offer those programs at those different sites. And so that's been coordinated by my director of out-of-school time, Tasha Fairley, by my side. And so that program right there services roughly 5,000 people throughout Greater Cleveland, and we're at 6 different sites. The other program that we have is Summer Tennis, which is a program that we offer summer tennis programming for community in 10 different sites throughout Greater Cleveland. And that roughly has about 1,000 people that participate throughout that. I guess it's about a month and a half of programming. And then we also partner with the Department of Recreation. And so they have a lot of young people that come through the Park and Recreation to actually get youth employment. And so youth employment is one thing, but just really figuring out how do we invest in their leadership development as citizens of the community. And so we go through an intensive 16-week investment where we have teachers that we bring in to facilitate like a training and curriculum. They have a project that they do. I believe they're actually graduating this Saturday, and I'll let Tasha talk a little bit more about that. But that program roughly services up to 105 students that work for the Department of Recreation.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. So this is a yearly piece, and we support this organization on a yearly basis. So this is we've seen this before. So I'm going to open this up for questions from the committee. Is there any questions on ordinance number 617, 2026?
Yes, Chair, thank you. I do. Yes, I do, Chair.
Councilwoman Gray.
All right, thank you. I just want to say I am a NLI member, class of 28, and I want to say how I expressed my gratitude for this program to be at Luke Eastern Park, the tennis program. That's implemented because it's on the list. However, the only concern I have is to really get the assistance to get the applications out to the kids, for them to, for more kids to apply for the tennis program at New Eastern Park. I know sometimes that's difficult, but I also extend the application out to the kids in the neighborhood because I spend a lot of time over there. So my question is, how can we be more attentive to get the applications to the kids so more kids can be more interested of playing tennis in that area per se? Do you have any suggestions, or do you have someone that can come out to assist me to advocate the tennis program for the area?
Yeah, so
Chair,
absolutely.
to the director?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yes. So I would definitely love, and also our director of out-of-school time would love to be able to come to any function that you have to promote the event.
Okay.
We do have a extensive marketing strategy as well. I'll
Okay.
let Tasha Fairley talk about that a little bit more.
Okay.
So just with marketing, we're putting applications in the libraries. We're marketing through the rec centers. We're sending, we're sending information to the schools as well, so the principals, the staff can pass out information. But like our director said, we'll be willing to work with you to,
Okay.
get the information out.
Okay.
So we can get more kids on board.
Okay, let's do that.
Okay.
Let's do that. So I set something up with you since I am the new Ward 3 is part of NLI right there on Broadway.
Yes.
So I can come over there, we can set a strategy up so we can get more kids to apply for the tennis program so they can use that tennis area, which is really phenomenal for them to know. We have other activities for them to enjoy. All right, thank you, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. That's right. This is your new home in Ward 3, huh? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions for the NLI? Seeing no further questions, ordinance number 617-2026 is approved. Please sign it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Director. Director, can you just hang for a second?
Sure, I'd be happy to. Thank you.
So, Director, can you give us a brief overview? Can you give us a brief overview of the up-and-coming pool sessions, and summer sessions, our lifeguard update? What can we expect to see for summer pools? Give us as much as information you can in a short period of time.
Yep. Thank you. I appreciate that to the chair. We have been spending a lot of time trying to rethink how we operated summer pools, trying to think about how we could better serve the community and improve our impact for the residents. We have been hosting a variety of lifeguarding classes throughout the spring. We have one final class coming up this upcoming week from June 1st through 5th. We have 28 people registered for that class, which is pretty significant. We had to actually put more instructors on it. We plan to open our pools on June 7th. We plan to be open 7 days a week. We plan to open from noon to 7 p.m. I think that this will be a much better opportunity for us to serve the community. My observations last summer when we were closed on Monday and Tuesdays, when we are closed, people want to swim anyway. We had some high heat days on those days. People went into the pool. This will provide a safer environment. As we are putting a lot of our focus and energy in our outdoor pools, we still recognize the value and the importance to have our indoor pools open. And so we are working on a plan to, on a complementary basis, have our indoor pools open. From a lifeguarding perspective, not all pools are functional, but the city has 41 pools, including indoor pools and outdoor pools, which is pretty significant. To successfully staff our pools and maximize operations, we would need 4 guards per pool. We've been operating with a very limited staff for a long time now. We've been operating indoor pools with 2 lifeguards, and it's very difficult for us to do that. In the summer of 2025, we hired a new Deputy Commissioner of Aquatics, and this person possesses the certification so that we can run more lifeguard classes. More lifeguard classes means more lifeguards. More lifeguards means more swim hours, means more swim lessons. So it's going to be a labor of love for us to fully get to where we need to be. It's going to take several years, but we are excited and pleased this year that we are going to have our outdoor pools open 7 days a week.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, Director. I'm going to open up to miscellaneous from my committee for any questions from the Director. Councilman Harsh. I'm going to start with Councilman Harsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm glad we're talking about pools because I went to Estherbrook last night and I was walking behind an older lady who was heading there, and she got to the door and she said, "Oh, the pool's closed again." So what's more iconic, right? Cleveland and closed pools. I'm this close to creating a website called Is the Pool Open? And the website will only answer one question: is the pool open? We've got 41 pools. We can have a website that says whether or not your pool is open, because it's really frustrating to me when people want to do therapy, and a lot of seniors in my neighborhood use the pool for aquatics therapy, right? And you can't learn how to swim on a splash pad. So pools are really important. The world is 75% water. You got to learn how to swim. Pools are how we do this. And it just drives me crazy every single time. You know, I have an office at Estherbrook, so I'm there frequently when the pool is closed. So I hope, Director, that you're right. June 7th, Estherbrook is going to open through the chair to the Director.
Through the chair to the councilman, Estherbrook's an indoor pool.
Yes.
We are working on our schedule to have indoor pools open. Indoor pools will not be open every day of the week, as we're putting a lot of our guards outside. However, our goal is to have indoor pools open 2 or 3 days a week to make sure that we can support the community. I totally appreciate your comments regarding our inability to serve the community to the best of our ability. A lot of it is just because we've had an aquatics program that didn't have the structure necessary to build the team that we have. So, well, I don't have the exact schedule yet for starting, I'm sorry, I apologize. June 6th is Saturday. June 6th is when we plan to open our outdoor pools. We will build a schedule that is expected to be consistent for our outdoor pools and our indoor pools so that residents know when they can swim.
Yeah.
We are projecting to have roughly 80 lifeguards this year. For a measure, last year we were around 68 lifeguards, so we are projecting better. So hiring someone that did have the credentials to build our lifeguard team is definitely showing some improvement. We definitely are committed. We know that we live on a lake. I expect people to know how to swim. We had swim lessons this spring. We offered them on a very limited basis. We had a waiting list of 76 people. To me, that says there is an incredible demand for people to swim. And so I do recognize the importance of improving aquatics.
Thank you, Director. I look forward to seeing that pool get open. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Harsh. Councilman Shaw.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Chair. To the Director, through the Chair, I appreciate your time and some of your responses. I know the pool situation is something we discussed before. We had talked just a few weeks ago, and you had stated, at that point, your goal was to have the pools open on Memorial Day. I'm curious as to what changed or what shifted since then.
Yeah. So through the chair to the councilman, I apologize for any confusion. The city of Cleveland has not historically opened our pools for Memorial Day. When I mentioned that and I stated that, it's a pie in the sky dream. We have to build our aquatic program. Part of building our aquatic program is retention of lifeguards throughout the school year. If we can retain more lifeguards throughout the school year, we can expand programs and services. It is a goal to open Memorial Day through Labor Day, like all of our surrounding municipalities or most of our surrounding municipalities. But it was certainly not something that I perceived that us to be able to do this year. Did anybody see that Wycliffe put up a billboard to look for lifeguards?
No. And when we had last spoken, Director, you had also indicated that generally it takes about 2 weeks prep time for the pools to be open. You have to run the testing, make sure all the water levels are great.
Mm-hmm.
If the goal is to open them June 6th, we're already less than about a week away. So are we already going through those testing processes right now?
Absolutely. Through the chair to the council member, getting pools open is a big piece of work. What we do is we work with our Public Works Department, where they're a great partner for us. They go and look at the pool and do any mechanical work that needs to be done. And then once we start filling the pools, putting chemicals in, then that allows us the opportunity to start testing the systems. I just had a conversation earlier this morning with our Deputy Commissioner of Aquatics. At this time, the pools that we have been able to get running are functioning as they should. Last year, I'm not going to lie, it was embarrassing. We opened our pools. We were really excited to open our pools, and we immediately had to close them because we had a lot of mechanical problems. This year, delaying opening until June 6th will give us the opportunity to work through those mechanical kinks.
Okay, that's good to hear. And we just had someone check out, I think, at Halloran. I don't think there's water in the pool yet. So you're saying we're still on track, though, with June 6th?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
We are on track for June 6th.
7 days a week, I think great goal. With the amount of lifeguards we have, we're still planning on not having the 30-minute, 15-minute breaks, anything like that? Are we still expecting a straight 1 to 7 consistency for the 7 days a week?
So, great question through the chair to the councilman. So, for almost all pool operations, lifeguard, there should be, from a safety perspective, be a 15-minute rest period every hour. So last year when we opened, we would close our pools every hour for 15 minutes for our guards to get a break. We also closed from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. to the general public. So last year, in prior years, pretty much people could come in, swim for an hour, everybody has to leave, and then we let those come in who want to return. This year, the way it's going to operate, we're not going to have to, our goal is to have 3 guards, ideally 4 guards at each pool, so we can rotate guards on a rotation, so people don't have to leave the deck every hour, and we do not have to close down from 4 to 5 for a lunch break.
I hear you, Director, and I'm trying to understand. So I know you said we have 80 guards right now that have been trained, and your goal is to have 4 at each pool. Right now we're at 3. So will we have to leave the pool every 45 minutes or an hour, or no, this summer?
So, yeah, that's a great question. So through the chair to the councilman, I expect the first couple weeks are going to be a bit clunky. We definitely have a good size number of people that are going through a class next week. When I look at the number of folks who we already have onboarded, who already are on payroll, when I look at the number of folks who've been through our spring lifeguarding classes, our projection is to have approximately 80 guards. Kids are still coming home from college. High school kids are just finishing up school. I expect the first couple weeks are going to be clunky. We're going to do the best that we can. I also appreciated the comment from your colleague, Councilman Harsh, regarding are the pools open or closed. I'm going to try to start working with some folks with IT on how we can develop a way to let people know what's open and what's closed. Communicating to the community what we have available is critical. Nobody wants to drive past a pool with water in it and see it closed. Nobody wants to get out of their house, drive 10 minutes to get out of a facility and find out that they can't swim. So we definitely have to improve our ability to communicate to the public what we're doing, and we definitely have to improve our ability to operate these facilities. But I think once we get through this class, we have everybody onboarded and through payroll. I feel very confident that we're going to have enough folks to be consistent in our operations over the summer.
Okay, so no one's gonna have to leave 4 to 5. We're gonna be able to stay in the pools.
The goal is to not close from 4 to 5. We haven't even talked about doing that for this year.
Okay, that's great to hear. And we can, I'll use this opportunity to plug more folks into applying. How much is the pay?
Pays a little over $17.50 to be a lifeguard. People who have lifeguard certification, we're ready to go. We just need to do a brief interview and do all of the background work to get people on payroll. Honestly, having 28 people registered for a class next week is pretty significant. We had to put more instructors in there. We can't accept any more then, but we'll continue to offer courses, and we will continue to build our ability to provide swimming.
No, and I appreciate your patience and focus on this matter. And I know the administration was touting this as one of the things during the summer initiative of how we're going to have the pools open 7 days a week. We want to continue pushing the administration on making sure that adequate resources are provided to you and your team to make sure that actually happens. And once again, I told you before, if that means you need more money, let us know. And we can only fund what you ask. Okay. So once again, that's, we want to push the administration on that. And I know Mayor Bibb has been big on all of government approach. Don't forget to utilize City Council as well to start recruiting pool lifeguards. That's something definitely we would be able to help with, and I want to push for as well. So thanks a lot. I yield, Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Shaw. Next, I'm going to go to Councilman Starr.
Thank you, Chair. This is a great, important topic. Obviously, we've seen the weather is breaking. We just came through our first holiday, and the summer is approaching fastly. I think summer starts, second week of June, technically on the calendar. But one of the things that is very important, I definitely will ask through the chair to the director. I think you coming up on 2 years now.
A little over a year and a half.
Oh, still cooking. Okay. Takes a year to learn a job, and then you start implementing things 6 months later. I got you. Through the standpoint of last year's number, we had how many total pools open last year?
I am going to have to get the total pools indoor and outdoor for summer.
Yes.
Let me get that total number for
That is
you.
work.
I want to say it was around 20 or 21.
Right. And through the standpoint that you mentioned earlier, I believe we have a total of how many pools in the city of Cleveland?
Total pools does not include they all are currently functioning, but total number of pools in the city of Cleveland are 41.
So we have 41 total pools. I know we were able to get successfully 21 possibly active open, whether it was indoor or outdoor last year. Within that 21, how many lifeguards were we able to complete from the end of 2025 that we actually had employed through the city of Cleveland through the chair?
Through the chair to the council member, for the year 2025, including full-time permanent aquatic staff, part-time permanent aquatic staff, and seasonals, I believe our total number was 68 people to work in our pools.
Perfect. And then one of the things that I look at is I believe the total population in the city of Cleveland is roughly around 374,000 residents in the city of Cleveland, give or take, plus or minus some more, a few thousands. One of the things that I was looking at and just exploring is we always compare ourselves to other cities to try to see what we're doing to make sure we're on track. When I looked up Columbus, who has a total population of 1 million, and what I noticed in Columbus, they have 9 public indoor and outdoor. I believe 8 of their pools are outdoor, and then they have 1 indoor pool, and that's for them to have a total of 1 million people. And then on top of there, they shows that they have around 6 sprays, grounds foundations, which total, when you look, give or take, they got 9 pools, and then they got 6 sprays, so they got 15 public outdoor usage for water, pools, sprays throughout the city, where they have a population of 1 million. Then when I look at the city of Cleveland, like you mentioned, we have 41 indoor and outdoor pools with a population of only 374,000, and then we're trying to staff and open up all these pools with additional lifeguards where we have a shortage at. I think it is best to say that we should be possibly exploring, do we need 40-something pools, through the chair to the director? Is that something we've talked about or looked into? Because I understand what you like you said, you're a year and a half in. You took on a job, new department, trying to staff it, trying to get it up and operating to the needs of the residents. And I'm trying to think from the standpoint, if we have only 374,000 residents, and if we were successfully to get all 41 pools open, it makes me think about another question would say, since we was able to get 21 pools open last year, do we have any data on the usage and sign-in sheets of how many families were actually, or people that was actually going to the pools that were actually open? And is the data, have we looked at it and see like, yo, this makes sense, or should this pool close and we consolidate it? Because one of the things we have to look at, and even though a lot of folks feel some type of way about this Building Bright Futures plans with education, but a lot of reason why our schools are closing is because of population. And when you talk about a lot of population loss, and when you talk about when these pools first was opened and some of these rec centers was built up, it was for a growing population in Cleveland that was close to almost 1 million residents. Now we have a quarter of that, or almost close to not even a third. And we're asking to try to maintain 41 pools when you know that we're not going to have that amount of participation in those pools. So I definitely want to just ask to the chair, to the director, have we explored the opportunities of and discussion of thinking, do we need all these pools in the city of Cleveland to be something that is open for the city to fit the need of the residents? Through the chair.
Through the chair to the councilman, I appreciate your perspective and research, and to see how other large municipalities operate their facilities for the residents. When I think about the quantity of pools that we have, when I think about the master plan was adopted in spring of 2025. It has recommendations in there regarding our facilities. not unlike Building Brighter Futures, not unlike what we're seeing in different terms of population shifts. The plan has some recommendations in terms of the quantity of facilities we need. It's not only pools, it's also rec centers, dog parks, pickleball courts, just a lengthy list of amenities that we have available to the community. The plan looks at trends in use. It looks at population. It also looks at peer cities. There are, I believe, 8 peer cities that we're compared to, and so they'll say, well, Milwaukee's a peer city. They have X number of basketball courts. So we haven't made any plans or determinations to change the quantity of facilities. I think it's a discussion that council and the administration are going to have, and I think we will have to look at the data and probably even have some kind of a presentation where we review the content that has been shared so that we can collectively determine how are we going to best serve our residents. When I think about our ability to serve the residents from an aquatics perspective, when I started working for the city of Cleveland, we had 1 manager in aquatics. We had, I want to say, 6, 7 full-time permanent aquatics people, and then we had probably 12 or 13 permanent part-time aquatic people during the school year, so to speak, which is just a very modest amount of staff to operate so many facilities. As I mentioned before, not all of our pools are functioning. There are pools that have been broken. We have to figure out what we're doing with them. There are pools that we know we need to make some repairs to, and we have to figure out the timing of when we make those repairs. We have 2 centers that have been closed for renovations for a few years now that are going to reopen, that are going to add back some pools into our system. And as we add those pools back, now we have to think, okay, how does this impact our quantity of guards? Having 41 pools, if all 41 pools were functioning all of the time, that's over 160 people to work in aquatics to fully staff each facility. That's a lot of people, it's a lot of money. Do we need that many with a population of less than 400, especially considering someone like Columbus? That is a litmus that we should consider. We also should consider other peer cities. So it's a big, challenging conversation that we'll all have to have.
Yep, and I'll wrap up, Chair, and thank you, Director, because those are tough discussions that we have to make too. Like I said, if we see the population has declined over the recent decades and years, we have to explore different opportunities and make those hard decisions to fit the needs of the residents. Just saying we have open places open and nobody is participating, I mean, it's a waste of money. Just to call it what it is. And for the fact that I didn't touch on it, we do have over 20 sprays in the city of Cleveland. So we got approximately 41 pools. We successful getting half of those open, and then we also got 20 sprays. And then you talk about a comparable city of Columbus, similar to us, who have 9 pools open and only 6 sprays. So it's like, we really got to look at this because obviously my recreational lens has came on and making me figure out like what are we doing as a city providing the service. And I definitely want to look at data and I want to look at participation. If our residents are not going to certain places, we need to figure out why they're not going there. And if it's not something that's in an area for them to go or is distance or is not a distance. If, you know, I mean, some places where we have a lot of residents around in that area and they're not going to that facility, but we continue to staff it fully and have it open and things are not getting turned. So I like to explore our return on our investments when it comes into our pools as well as looking at our division of rec. And I definitely would lean on the chair to be able to provide leadership on how we be able to work through this and get something going. So thank you, Chair, and thank you, Director.
All right, thank you, Councilman Starr. I'm going to go to Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you, Chair. I just have a couple questions on the fruit pools in the Buckeye, Mount Pleasant, Shaker area that all the kids do attend and have a good time. So please tell me that the dump that's part of Ward 6 now. Please tell me that dump has that motor for the pool. Chair to the director this year, because I done had a slew of questions just this week about the dump. So, so will the dump be open? Will Luke Eastern be open? Those are the two major pools in those areas that a lot of the kids in those particular areas go to. And also, I know Hamilton will be open, correct? Because Hamilton is the pool that also have the lifeguard sessions there. So I just want to know about those three pools in those areas. That's always flux with a lot of kids all the time.
Yep.
Chair to the director.
Through the chair to the council member, I appreciate your comments. At this time, now, if you recall, last year, Luke Easter Park was a significant challenge. We had some structural problems that were very difficult to overcome. We are confident Luke Easter Pool will open this summer, and I believe it had been closed for a couple of years. We intend Hamilton to remain open as an indoor pool. As I mentioned earlier, indoor pools will be open either 2 or 3 days a week, depending. We want to be consistent in what we can provide to the community. And I'm not sure which pool is the dump. I presume it's
That is a Woodland Rack. Woodland Rack, which has the dump and also the extended pool on the other side. But the motor was out for the dump, I think, just one summer, if not two. But that is a huge access to that area. The dump is number one, as we all know as well. So I had a lot of questions. And Councilman Gray, what about the dump, which is, like I said, which is now part of Ward 6. So please get that motor for that dump for this summer.
Mr. Chairman, clarification. The dump is not just the pool. The dump is that big thing.
It's a big barrel.
The
It's
bell
big
that dumps a lot of water.
And the water comes
Gotcha.
down.
Comes
So that's
down.
like a fancy splash pad, and that's been down. And
Yeah,
that's
that
what
been down.
the residents have been looking for. Is that going to get repaired?
I appreciate that. I wasn't aware of, through the
I thought
chair
you
to the
knew
council
when I
members,
said
I
the dump.
definitely appreciate your advocacy for this.
Yeah.
I wasn't aware that this wasn't a problem, so this is something I'll put some muscle into and see what I can do. We will have to work collaboratively with our partners in Public Works, potentially MOCAP. I will definitely get an update by the end of the day tomorrow on where we are in terms of getting that feature repaired.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right, and one more question. Now, Luke Eastern Pool, we have a double pool too there. We have the other side with the slide. It has to slide on that section. I believe that was closed too due to the non-operation of the larger pool. So will both those pool area, be open as well? Could you check into that? Because there was a lot of questions. That slide is there for enjoyment, but if it's shut down, why do you have it there, as well as the enjoyment of the dump? So,
Yes, to the council woman, I appreciate that comment. Slides are tricky pieces because we require a lifeguard at the top and a lifeguard at the bottom.
yes.
And so when we think about our inability to staff our pools just to keep them open all day, opening up play features is always a wish item. It's not necessarily a something guaranteed that we can do. And I would say that from an industry standard, that is common across the board. It depends on the ability to serve the community with a number of lifeguards. I will also add, Cleveland has an extra element when it comes to the mechanical features. Some of our equipment is pretty old, and it's difficult to get parts for. It's difficult to make repairs. I'm not sure that we can open the slide this year. I'm going to check. I don't remember if it was something mechanical or if it was something relating to our ability to staff the pool and have that special feature open. So I'm going to check.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you,
Yep.
Councilwoman. Councilwoman Hudson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through the chair, first I just want to, commend you on the work that you're doing. I know that this is hard. We're coming from a point of where things were not very good, and so but the only place to go is up. And I think, for something like this, when you're talking about lifeguard shortages, and you and I have had this conversation. I was a lifeguard in high school and college. My daughter's just about to start her 4th summer as a lifeguard, and when I was growing up, the lifeguards were the cool kids. People spending the summer at the pool. Then I grew up wanting to be a lifeguard because I wanted to be like them, and so this is a culture shift. We need to make lifeguards cool again. And so I appreciate your effort in getting more teenagers to go through the program. So I have a question about that. The class, is it free to our residents?
Yeah.
Through the chair?
Yeah, through the chair to the council woman. Our lifeguard classes are free to the residents. We have had some non-residents want to participate, and we've said only if you plan to work here. So we really are limiting participation in our free lifeguard classes to those who will work. Those people who successfully complete our lifeguard classes, as long as they don't show, honestly, you have to be there every day. So as long as they're not an attendance problem or a behavioral problem, we will conduct a brief interview and we'll bring them on pretty quickly. So going through our lifeguard classes is an excellent way to have summer employment, and we know a summer employment is one of the best ways to engage our teenagers over the summer.
Great, thank you. And I know you said that this summer that you have 80 lifeguards. What would an ideal staff number look like for the Department of Parks and Rec?
Through the chair to the councilwoman, I appreciate this question as well. An ideal complement of lifeguards is over 160. So we've been operating below half. We're getting to half of where we need to be, but we still have a long way to go. It's going to take a long time. I mentioned earlier, I expect the first couple weeks to be clunky as we try to make sure that we have enough guards to open up. But I believe once we get through mid-June, we should be pretty good. We'll remain open through mid-August. I have to get that final closure date for you, but this is not something that other municipalities are not also facing. Every municipality is struggling with guards. We need to make guards cool again. Guards were cool when Baywatch was on TV. I hear there's a new Baywatch coming back. When Baywatch comes back, maybe guards will be cool again.
And thank you for that. And so I know Councilman Shaw mentioned, through the chair, he brought up rest period. And I understand exactly what rest period is. And normally rest period is when the kids get out of the pool and adults are allowed to swim. So previously, everybody had to leave the pool area because lifeguards need a break, and you didn't have anybody to cover the break. Is that correct, through the chair?
Through the chair to the council member, that is correct. We only had 2 guards at the pool. Those 2 guards were responsible for staffing for 45 minutes. For safety reasons, they had to take a break, both of them. There was nobody available to watch the pool, so we had to throw everybody out, so to speak. We intend to keep our pools open. I can talk to our aquatics team and see if we can allow adult swim during our rest periods, as most municipalities offer that as well.
Right, thank you. And I have to bring up, through the chair, Estabrook Recreation Center. I understand through the rec manager, Jackie Nichols, who's awesome, by the way. He mentioned that the indoor pool is slated for some repairs this summer, and so it will be closed while they do some work on the tile. But the outdoor element, which isn't actually a pool, it's a slide. It's what the kids would call a rec pool. It has some play features, but not like an actual pool where you could do laps. And from my understanding, it's been closed since the pandemic. And I don't know, and Jackie didn't know if it's mechanical or if it's related to staffing. Also, because of the issues needing one guard at the top of the slide and one guard at the bottom. So I'm also interested in hearing what would be required to get that open, especially because the indoor pool will be closed for repairs.
Yeah, through the chair to the councilman, I definitely appreciate this as well. We have some significant tile problems, which are creating a safety hazard at Estabrook. We need to, as we build out our aquatics program, what we need to do is build in an opportunity over the summer to close some indoor pools for maintenance. Some of it will just be cleaning, some of it might be significant tile work, but we are starting to look at our aquatic operation and how can we improve our maintenance in our facilities so that we can improve our ability to serve year-round. When I think about things like this spray ground and the slide and the outdoor features at Estabrook, I need to look into it. I thought there was a mechanical problem, but I'm going to check my notes and see if it's mechanical or if it's staffing on why we can't operate. I think from a operations perspective, there's really two reasons why we can't operate to the best of our ability and to serve the community. And some of it is because there are some mechanical failures that we just have to get to. When having 41 facilities, that's a lot of stuff that breaks. So we have to have time and schedule to replace all and repair things. But I think the other piece is staffing. So I know Estabrook had issues. I thought it was mechanical and not staffing, but I'm going to confirm with you for the outdoor features. And I will also have a conversation with our Deputy Commissioner of Aquatics to see what we can do. So, the slides are popular. They're popular everywhere. Everybody loves slides.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and that's all, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you, Director.
Anything else?
That's it.
All right. I appreciate all the questions. What I most appreciate is the passion to serve the community and the passion for aquatic opportunities for our residents. So I really appreciate your support. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Director. All right, next up, we have a council piece. So next up is ordinance number 522-2026 by Councilmember Bishop. This is an emergency ordinance to amend section 453.01, 403.04, and 4.403.06. Hold on just a minute. I didn't call you to the table. Hold on just a minute. And of the codified ordinance of Cleveland, Ohio, 1976, as amended by ordinance number 817-2023, passed September 18th, 2023, and ordinance number 1806-2000, passed March 19, 2001, relating to paid parking regulations. All right, I'm going to have our attorney come to the table first. I want the committee members to refer to the handout that we passed out to each member. It says the City of Cleveland on-street parking parking legislation comparison chart. I think everybody has that. And also, I want to refer to the other piece of a paper we have. Council proposed the special event zones. Okay, so we have these this comparison chart. So we have before the legislation we had in 2023 what the city's parking consists of. We have the current parking, all the information about the current parking, and that was as of January 1st. And then we have the proposed parking that will be go into effect if this ordinance passes. Okay, so I want to stress that these are minor changes. They are very minimum changes. So I want everybody to kind of take a look at that as we deliberate over this piece of legislation. But in the meantime, I want to call up our public commenter, somebody that wants to make a public comment, Mr. Matthew On. He's Ward 5. Yeah, come right here. Yes. All right, welcome, Mr. An.
Good morning.
Can you state your name, and you don't have to give your address, but you can give your ward number and the neighborhood you live in?
Yes, Matthew An, Ward 5. I live downtown in the middle of the Gateway Special Event Parking District.
Okay, all right, proceed.
Do I have a clock or? Okay, all right.
And when you see me, I'll stop you, okay?
Great, sounds good. Thank you for having me this morning, Council. I was encouraged to attend this meeting to share my perspective on the implementation of the special event zones in particular, given its relevance to 522-2026. I want to be clear generally that I am in favor of actually charging for parking at the rate that it should be valued at. I'm a former member of Bike Cleveland. I've never owned a car in my adult life. And the base parking rates are still lower than in peer cities such as Indianapolis, which enforces 2-hour rates, 16 hours a day, despite not having any rail transit that serves their city. However, the special event rates have been implemented in Gateway in a way that has caused problems for the residents of my building, which has nearly 300 units, as well as nearby businesses. And I believe that the ordinance right now does not necessarily capture some of these issues and resolve them. Two major ones. First, there's currently no advance notice of when special event rates are going to be in effect. I'm out here oftentimes trying to cross-reference 3 different sports schedules to try to figure out if parking is going to be $1.50 an hour or $8 an hour, and sometimes I miss a Morgan Wallen concert, and all of a sudden I'm paying $32 for parking. Presumably these large events are scheduled in advance, and it would be nice to at least have a page on the city website to note that these are the times when these prices are going to be in effect. Setting prices in this manner is, in many ways, from a policy perspective, an effort to change behavior, but I can't change my behavior if I don't know in advance what the prices are going to be. Second, at least in when you pay through the app, you are usually able to buy parking in 3-minute increments when special event parking's not in effect. But at least in my experience, I've only been able to buy special event parking in 1-hour blocks when that parking rate is in effect, which means that if I need to park for 5 minutes to bring something up to my apartment and then leave, I pay $8 for those 5 minutes of parking. If somebody happens to go shopping and they park for 70 minutes, that is $16 rather than, say, $8.50 or $9. And so if the goal is to actually make money and free up spots for quick turns, requiring people to pay for a full hour at a time does not help. Obviously, I have other structural concerns, but this committee is not the RTA board, so I will leave that for other public comment. But I do hope that at least from an implementation perspective, that if the goal really is to not only value parking at the rate it's supposed to be valued at, but also encourage folks to come downtown, that some of these concerns are addressed. I have talked to a number of folks who live in other neighborhoods of the city who are trying to figure out if they even want to come downtown if they don't know what the parking rates are going to be.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. All right.
I do travel here and there for work. I rent cars, and often most of the car rental locations downtown are only open 8 to 6. And so I have to grab a car at 6 p.m. and then I need to find parking for it until 10 p.m. So it is something that has come up frequently for me in the last few months as I try to figure out work travel.
All right, thank you, Mr. An. All right, to our attorneys, can you walk us through the major changes that will be a part of this parking? And I want to say to the committee that on our tablets we have the council amendments, and they are highlighted in red, the red line copy there. This is probably the easiest document on the tablet where you can follow on what we are doing to change this and make amendments. Okay, go ahead, Ms.
Thank you. Through the chair to the councilman and the committee. There are minor changes that we're making to our own ordinance, and this is kind of the result of getting feedback from all of you, and also some negotiation with the administration. So one of the important amendments is that we are lowering the downtown parking rates to $1 per hour to $3 per hour, and up to $8 an hour during special event zone events. So it had been up to $8 an hour, and we're lowering that to a range of $1 to $3 an hour. That was because of feedback we heard about it just still being too expensive to park downtown. And we've allowed these special event zones that are now defined that will be up to $8 an hour. Another thing we've done, and this was in negotiation with the administration, was streamlining our days and times to charge in downtown parking areas to Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m. and Sundays only during special events. And then we are, like I said, codifying a gateway and a lakefront special event zones. And then we are implementing that no new parking meter zones will be implemented unless by ordinance authority after June 1st, which is when we're hoping to pass this ordinance. There are other minor changes, and I learned there was a slight change that was made just right before this committee started, that we're going to change neighborhoods parking hours from Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Yes.
Instead of 6 p.m.
Yes. Right, that's correct.
Yeah, okay. So
Okay.
that'll be added.
Okay. All right, now, so can you go over the downtown parking area from $1 to $3 on the second box down here on the proposed parking schedule? Can you explain that to the committee?
You're looking at the
Yeah,
the draft.
looking at that, yeah.
Yeah, so the downtown parking area, our proposed ordinance, the hours of enforcement in which they can charge will be from Monday through Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m., and then Sunday only for special events in designated special event zones. That's for the downtown area. And then outside of the downtown parking area in the neighborhoods, they can enforce from Monday through Friday from 7 till 8 p.m.
Okay,
Those are the hours of enforcement.
okay,
And then the cost would be $1 to $3 an hour downtown, and $8 an hour in the special event zones.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so the mobile app, QR codes, and the pay stations, can you touch on that in this legislation?
Yes, and the administration agreed to this, that we're adding, and this was in the original ordinance as introduced, that we are adding a clause that says that the payment method by cash and coins must be available within 600 feet of each individual parking space. This is to ensure that people that don't have the ability to access the app will have a nearby pay station where they can pay by cash or coin.
Okay, and the parking zones, can you also touch on the parking zones down on the bottom lower part of the proposed parking?
Yes, so we are designating special event zones, and those will be available to charge for parking Monday through Sunday, anytime that there's a special event, which the administration can establish through their rules and regulations. We are establishing the Gateway Special Event Zone and the Lakefront Special Event Zone, and those are both, outlined in the ordinance, in the red line copy, and also, well, I guess they're not on the chart, but.
Okay, so
Is
also.
that what you were asking, Chair?
Well, I wanted to touch on when they want to establish new parking zones after
yes.
6/1/2026.
Yes, that is the provision that says that in order for them to establish a new parking meter zone, they need to come to council for ordinance authority in order to do that for anything that happens after June 1st
Okay,
of this year.
all right. So I want to open it up for questions from the committee anybody have any questions on the proposed changes on the parking zones? Councilman Casey.
Mr. Chairman, I was just wondering if we had heard from the administration on this proposed changes.
Through the chair to the councilman, yes, we have. This was, they've pretty much agreed to our amendments with that added $6 an hour, or I'm sorry, with the added 8 p.m. change in the neighborhoods. I did hear from Lucas right before this came up, and I'm not sure because I was not in the room, that they also wanted to change the neighborhood rate to just $1 to $3 an hour rather than having it go up to $8 an hour after 8 hours.
Okay.
We need to confirm that we're in agreement on that, and then we could also make that amendment.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, Director Leary, you can come to the table. Okay. So any other questions? Councilman Starr.
No, my main question it stems from the influx of calls and emails I've received the last couple of weeks regarding these changes. And one of the things I have not yet got a clear understanding is what do the downtown residents actually want? Is this something coming from the downtown residents, or is this just something that we or the administration is asking? Because I'm getting mixed signals from downtown businesses on why this change is not going to be effective, as well as some residents who have identified major concerns with ordinance number 522. So I would like to know through the chair, what analysis or what has the community engagement or the standpoint, what do the businesses downtown first want as opposed to this changes with this ordinance? Through the chair.
So through the chair to the councilman, we have had a lot of engagement with downtown businesses, and I don't know if it's okay to ask for Lucas to come. Lucas Reeve has been doing a lot of work with the downtown businesses. As far as the residents for downtown, we have had some interaction with them as well, but it's fair to say that we haven't had robust discussions about it. I mean, I think that's fair to say. But we have had, with residents, I will say. But with businesses we have, and if I could ask Lucas Reed to come up and just some of the discussion that he's had with some
Come on
of the
up to the
businesses.
table, Lucas.
Yeah, but I think from that standpoint, we got to remember that downtown is a community. We do got residents staying there. We do have businesses staying there. We want people to come and visit these entertainment industry, restaurants, food and beverages, all those different things. And if the parking, like one of the things that I'm accustomed to in the past is at the 6 o'clock, I go park at a park meter, go hang out, enjoy each restaurant, go to each bar that's around the corner and walk and go there. And then once I'm done, I go home. So is this a way for us to say, we want to make sure, for my case that I brought up, example I gave, I'm not able to park at a meter for 3 or 4 hours for free after 6 p.m. I'd much rather I have to wait till at least 10 p.m. to do that, to explore the other amenities downtown.
So through the chair to the councilman, and I think, and that's very fair, and this is something you've expressed a couple of times, and we've talked before about this. But one of the things that we're able to do with the ordinance as it sits today, we were able to make some changes. There are some zones that we just shut down after our conversations with you and the council. There are some areas downtown we said, yeah, it doesn't make sense for us to charge on there. We've actually, but to be able to have the flexibility to do that, if the ordinance is so prescriptive that we can't make those changes. So we did make those, and as we get more data and we look at those things, we have maps that we show, well, there's really no activity there. And there's some places we say we're just not going to enforce anymore because it does two things. It allows us to put our enforcement in areas where we really need it, and it also allows people who want to park in areas that there's just not a lot going on, they can park there. And so again, the being able to have access to the data, being able to have the flexibility to do these things gets us there. To your point, Councilman, we're not there, but we've just kind of started doing this, trying to figure out where are the areas where, you know, it makes sense for us to really have higher enforcement to get more turnover for our vehicles. But then there are areas where we don't need to do that. And so we're still trying to figure that out. That's still happening.
Yes, and so from that standpoint, when we talk about a special event zone, can we explain like what that actually mean and what it looks like? If you talk about a special event zone, is this where at downtown what we consider an area where it would be a special event zone for $8 an hour to park? What's an example? To the chair.
Look at you. Yeah. Oh, here you go.
Can I just add to your last point that, sorry. I'll add through the chair to your last point, Councilman, that we also have a provision in this ordinance that the director will come back and report to this council and to this committee on the implementation of these changes within a year, and then we can see what the data is that they've collected and make any necessary tweaks.
Okay, go ahead, Lucas.
Thank you, Chair. Through the chair to Councilman Starr, a couple things before I address your question specific to the special event zones. I think one, with respect to businesses, one of the first points that you brought up, I want to thank you first for being one of the active and engaged council members downtown who is sending us this type of feedback for businesses that are feeling challenged from one respect or another as it relates to how the parking changes that we rolled out in early 2026 in January downtown might be impacting them. In each case, we've gone out and met with those business owners. I'll cite a recent conversation that we had with the owners of Aladdin's over on Carnegie. Had a fantastic meeting with them. If anyone hasn't visited their shop, it's top notch. The food is fantastic. But one of the things that we were able to help address for them was access to curb space directly in front of their business, where much of their business is really focused on quick in and out, right? Someone's grabbing a sandwich, they're picking up some groceries on the way home. They need accessible, available short-term parking. So we established a small 30-minute zone there where folks can just come in and come out as long as they're there for 30 minutes or less. There's no charge for them. And the folks at Aladdin's are very happy with that change that we made for them. So I cite that specifically in terms of how the administration is approaching the feedback that we're getting from businesses. It's very much a problem-solving approach where we want to understand what are the particular issues that are facing them and what kind of solutions do we have in the toolbox that we can implement there. I think the other thing that I want to double down on that Director Laird mentioned is that really we've been at this for a little less than 6 months now. We rolled out the changes in downtown in January, the changes in Ohio City in February. So data is still coming in. But one of the most important things about what we're doing now with the modernization of the parking program is being able to use that data to make thoughtful decisions, to be responsive to what we're seeing on a hyper-local basis. Our peer cities they also have dynamic parking policies and strategies in place. We are pushing to get more efficient in how we're using that data to make those changes. But these other cities, the folks that we met with, they really are almost managing these zones on a zone-by-zone basis. It's really that hyper-local. And what makes that so effective is that we can meet with business owners like the folks at Aladdin's. We can meet with other business owners across downtown in Ohio City to understand what their issues are. We can meet with residents, understand what their pain points are, and we can start to think about how we can develop solutions. The biggest thing about why a dynamic system is so important is that it's really demand-based. And so as Director Laird mentioned, there's a few streets and zones that we've already collected enough data on in our less than 6 months tracking that data to say these streets are just not in demand. Let's not even charge for parking on these streets. Let's just remove metered parking from these streets and let folks park there and use that as an option for long-term, highly affordable, free parking. We're also using that same strategy to look at high demand zones. So thinking about areas downtown that are in inordinately high demand and being able to have pricing policies and session caps there, that's where we deploy our progressive rate policy to make sure that we've got greater turnover and access within those zones. But we also have these lower demand zones. And so as we continue to evaluate those lower demand zones, there's a whole host of things that we can do. One of the things that we've done is within those lower demand zones, we've changed our pricing and session time policy within those zones. So whereas a progressive zone allows only for 4 hours of parking, within those other zones, we can now allow parking all day unobstructed. So there's no time cap in any of those zones because they're a lower demand zone. We also charge less in those zones. We charge $1.50 per hour, simply the base rate in those zones. That is in response to lower demand. We would love to see, and we are already seeing those zones increase in their usage. And really the goal there is to have those zones become even more occupied than they are now, which will create greater space in those higher demand zones to provide greater accessibility. To finally, in a very long-winded way, answer your question, Councilman Starr. The special event zones, we have them here listed as they currently exist. This is a map to give you a good visual of where the special event zones are. You'll notice right away that they are clustered in two different groupings. One around the lakefront, so Browns Stadium to our north, and then to our south around the Gateway District. Within these special event zones, we allow for folks to park there for a special event rate of $8 per hour. This is still a very affordable rate for parking in close proximity to events that are going on both at Brown Stadium and within the Gateway District. Certainly we know that it's a much more affordable option than parking off-street in these areas. We allow folks to park there 2 hours prior to the event. There's no cap on their session stay, so if the game goes into overtime or they want to go out to East 4th after the game and enjoy themselves, they can feel free to do that. And so we have about 640 spaces around the lakefront area and about 175 spaces around the Gateway District. Very happy that Matthew joined us this morning, whoever invited Matthew to the table to explain his experience with special event zones. We've taken some notes. We want to make improvements there to make sure that we're being more communicative with folks about when those special events are occurring. I think the last thing I'll say about special event zones is that they're really not just for folks that are attending events at Brown Stadium or one of the two Gateway stadiums. They're also a really great way for folks that want to come downtown and do something and be able to park close by to where they're going, but maybe are not visiting an event at the stadium. Maybe they're going to East 4th, maybe they're going to Playhouse Square. So it's an option for folks whether they're attending an event or not.
Through the chair, thank you, Mr. Lucas, for this, but it's so hard for me to understand or support something like this when I'm getting emails from business owners, as I did today. Amanda, who has a yoga facility downtown, right off of Prospect, 1104 Prospect Ave, where she put, "I'm writing because the recent parking changes have had a significant negative impact on business like mine. I fully support modernizing the parking system and moving away from outdated coin meters. However, the elimination of free parking after 6 p.m. and on weekends has created a major barrier for our customers."
So
And the same thing as to me, someone who lives downtown, we have to think about the development that we've added and done in downtown. We never included enough parking spaces or parking garages for those houses and those apartments. So people rely on utilizing ways to park in different spaces to assist them for where they are living. So when you talk about a business owner who came and moved their business downtown to an area and been there since 2016 and survived through COVID and is a small business, now they're having difficulties without having parking spaces after 6 p.m. where people are coming to do yoga. So they may come to do yoga for an hour or two. She may have a 6 o'clock class. And if I'm able to just pull up and park at a meter where we once had free parking, now that person got to go around and potentially tell me they're going to possibly have to pay $8 per hour or more just to park to go to yoga. Then therefore, why don't I just go to a different gym?
Sure.
Where I can possibly have a parking spot, and then that could be the place that I go. So that means that small business that yoga that Miss Amanda has brought up, her yoga classes can be something that changes, and people are not going to want to come because they're having that challenge. And she wrote a very good email talking about how concerned she is. So now I'm thinking, like, how many other businesses are feeling this and they have yet to be able to voice their frustration or their concerns. And then also from the standpoint that we did get I did get a letter from downtown Cleveland, Michael Deemer, when they're almost opposed of it. So my thing is, if downtown Cleveland, as well as certain small businesses are saying they're in opposition of this, then what are we actually doing to help the business? What I'm saying is, I don't know how to go back to residents that live in downtown that I have the pleasure of representing them and telling them why we made these changes and what it's going to do and how it's going to affect them, because I know they're going to be reaching out to me about changes of why this is happening, and they don't have time to deal with getting more data a year later to see it. Where I mentioned in January, February with Mr. Lucas and Matthew Moss, like me as included, as well as downtown Cleveland, to have a real robust conversation. So therefore we could have got ahead of this to making sure we are proactive in our approach than approaching this with, hey, we made these changes, now we're going to roll it out maybe in 2 weeks. Now we got enough autonomy where we can make changes if people reach out. And therefore, that's where it get confused at, because people are going to reach out and ask for changes. And then obviously, like you heard from Mr. Lucas through the chair, an example of a Latins where it got to me and he was able to get with them to make those changes. Do we have enough autonomy to be able to do that for other businesses, such as the Yoga Strong LLC, which Ms. Amanda just brought out that she's having problems and challenges through the chair?
So I'll let Lucas jump in, but really quickly through the chair to the councilman, those are all fair, and those are all the things that we have been working through. Lucas does have a few scenarios where he met with some businesses and we carved out certain areas downtown where they can have parking, where they can actually park all day at a low rate. And then there could be cases where, he's done the zones, but we could also take a look at the area and say, if this is really not a high demand area, we can make the changes. But again, with having the flexibility to do that, we can do those kind of things. But again, it is going to be a little helter-skelter because we're just rolling this thing on. We didn't do it perfect. We didn't do it right all the way. We understand, and that's why, but to be able to have that flexibility to be able to go back to each area, we can talk with the yoga company and see what are the needs, what can we figure out, because we've done this. And we can do it in other areas if we need to, and I'll let Lucas jump in.
And I'd like to jump in too, through the chair to the councilman. This is also why council pushed back. We heard that you all have heard from residents, businesses, and employees as well about the exorbitant price downtown for parking. And so while we respect the need for some flexibility, we put parameters on it and we changed the rates to only $1 to $3 downtown, unless you're in a special event zone. I also would like to point out that there is a map in front of you of the special event zones that council is proposing. The lakefront is a little bit smaller than what you see up on what Lucas showed on the screen, and that is because we wanted there to be more available spots that are $1 to $3 an hour than the $8 an hour special event parking. And then the Gateway special event zone is very close, is very similar. So just wanted to make those clarifying points. Thank you.
Okay, let me explain. Councilman Starr, I'm gonna come back to you. I know you're not finished, correct? So let me explain to why am I proposing this legislation about the on-street parking. So somebody has to look out for everyday Clevelanders. With the rates that Clevelanders has been paying and faced with paying, it's just too expensive for these Clevelanders to absorb. Clevelanders can't be forced to pay unaffordable parking fees on roads that they pay taxes to build and maintain. Clevelanders have very low wealth, low income in this city, and we are turning downtown into a gated community where only the well-off can afford to go. When gas is $5 to $6 a gallon, it is a terrible time to charge people up to $8 an hour, or to have them unsure about what they're going to be paying when they come downtown. So is it fair for us to start levying big fees on people parking in their own neighborhoods? I just find that to be unfair. So that's why I'm proposing this legislation, to get a handle on the amount of fees that we are charging our residents, to clearly define areas where we can get a premium for parking when you come down to a Cavs game, or you come down to a Guardians game. We want the parking rates to be predictable. I use this analogy all the time, is that when you get your energy bill, you have a general idea about how much your energy bill should be. If you open up your energy bill and it's 3 times what you expect it to be, then you got to make some changes in your life. You got to start to make some hard decisions and make some changes. I want these rates to be affordable. I want these rates, I want us to be as responsible with these rates as a city for us charging our residents. I don't want us to go after just revenue. I want us to be inclusive to all Clevelanders, where we can shop, we can play, we can recreate, we can visit our friends who live in all different types of neighborhoods. And I want it to be practical. I want these fees to be practical. That's why I'm making these changes with ordinance number 522. So, Councilman Starr, can you proceed?
Yes, and I think that is very important. And just for clarification, if a downtown business is having issues with parking and access for customers coming to their business, it is right and safely so that they can reach out and we can connect them with Mr. Lucas through the chair to be able to provide positive outcomes to help with the issue that they are dealing with. Is that correct through the chair?
Go ahead, Director.
Similar to how we did with Aladdin?
Yeah, through the chair to the council. That is correct.
Yeah, so to the viewing public, if you're a business operating downtown, if this ordinance is passed and you are having challenges with possible pickup, Uber Eats, curbside, things like that, and you need some additional spaces to allow you to operate your business, feel free to reach out to my office, and I will make sure you get connected to Mr. Lucas and the director to see how they can be able to work with their staff to help assist you with any changes that you may have regarding the City of Cleveland on-street parking, paid parking legislative changes. And I yield, Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Starr. Next, I'm going to go to Councilwoman Hudson, and I'm going to come back to Councilman Harsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to add, my husband works on West 25th Street in Ohio City, which is right now one of the zones where there is currently metered parking to 10 p.m. right now. So I just want to clarify. So this would change that to free parking after 8 p.m., not 6 p.m. Is that correct?
To the chair, the councilman, yes.
Okay, and through the chair, I was curious how customers react to the parking situation. And he said that the number one complaint that people coming into the Glass Bubble Project, which is where he works, is related to the technology. And it might be, older folks who are unfamiliar with using the technology, but also a hesitancy among people to enter their information into the app, where they don't want to, put their license plate, or they don't want to download anything onto their phone.
Sure.
And so a cash option is essential.
Yeah. So through the chair to the councilwoman, that is the pay stations do have cash options, and I've actually used those pay stations on West 25th when I go over to Boaz. So there actually is a cash option there. So in your ordinance, you do have a requirement for those pay stations every 600 feet. So that, I believe that does speak to that.
And so through the chair, these amendments would increase the, I'm asking, would these amendments increase the availability or the the frequency of those cash pay stations?
Through the chair, yes.
Yes, it will.
That was our intention, and that's the effect.
Okay, which it is important because it's often, you know, from what I understand, the experience of business owners where they have to direct customers to where the pay station is. Like, it's not readily available in all locations. They have to say, no, you have to walk down by Chipotle. Like, the next pay station is over there. So increasing the availability, I believe, is important. Also, through the chair, you mentioned the flexibility with Park Mobile. Do you have the flexibility to implement the changes that Mr. On has asked for regarding downtown residents with the special event parking, and how currently you can only have an hour and you can't do the smaller time frames during special event times? Is that something that you could do?
Through the chair to the councilwoman, I think so on the increments and also on the advance notice. One of the things that we did recently was provide notice within the app and the pay stations themselves, so folks know when they're in a special event area before they transact that they are in a special event area, where of course they could decide to stay there and pay that rate, or they could move to another nearby zone that may have a different pricing structure that could be more conducive to their needs. The other thing, and I'll flip to it, one of our last slides here that we're looking to do that I think could be very helpful, is our team has put together some different signage for the special event areas that would add this orange color to it to just be further communicative to folks about when they find themselves in a special event zone. But absolutely heard the gentleman that shared his concern. We want to do everything we can to be as communicative and make the app and other forms of payment as easy as possible for folks.
Through the chair, do you have any notice that's on the ground, you know, when people are actually parking, that it's a special event zone?
So through the chair to the councilman, and again, this is something we talked about, actually having physical signs during special events that could get posted during those events. So I know we talked with Commissioner Mavick. I don't want to speak out of turn, but we did talk about having physical signs on the ground during special events. Yeah. Is that okay to have?
Through the chair, the council member, so we developed a sign so that it would be a permanent sign. So when you find yourself in a zone that was subject to a special event rate, you would know it. It would not communicate that a special event was on that particular day, but it would notify you that you are in an area that you need to check the app because it is subject for those higher rates. Oh, that, yeah, and these kind of match what, when there are special events in the Gateway District, there are parking restrictions. We try to kind of match the colors to make sure that it was communicated.
Okay, and through the chair, you know, since the special event signs, you know, don't communicate the day of, you know, for somebody who might not be using the app and might be using the cash pay station, is that communicated to people paying that way, that they're in a special event zone?
Through the chair, the council member, I believe most recently, I think Lucas referred to, there's on the app and at the pay station, both have notifications at this point.
But I will say through the chair to the councilwoman, if we realize that there are areas where we actually need signs on the ground, we do have our people during special events. We have folks out, and if we need to put signs on the ground, we can. It's not out of the realm of possibility. It just takes some more planning.
Okay, thank you. And just to reiterate through the chair, I think it's important that we, you know, respect our downtown residents, you know, as neighborhood residents, and make sure that they have, you know, the courtesy of knowing what what they will be charged for parking outside of, you know, their residence. And I do think that having smaller increments than an hour, and it might also help solve, some of the concerns that Councilman Starr brought up regarding Uber drivers and, food deliveries and things like that as well. Another question through the chair. Currently, where does the money from these the parking fees? Where does that money go? Is it just part of the general fund?
No, through the chair to the councilwoman, the revenues from parking meters goes to, I believe it is a general fund account, but it's actually used by the Division of Parking.
I'm sorry, the Division of
Parking.
Parking. And okay, and then so what would that be spent on? Through the chair.
Through the chair to the councilwoman, that is actually used for operational. So we, for instance, we pay for our parking enforcement officers. We have administrative people who actually administer the program. Some of that gets paid for out of there. So that is the current use of that money, those resources.
Okay, thank you. I just, for the record, I would like to, just express my desire for parking fees to be used on streets. I think there's a lot of room, that we have a lot of need in the division of streets, and I would like to see it, go towards
So
traffic calming and street improvements.
Through the chair to the councilwoman, we do have a piece of legislation working through now, but we wanted to get this together but it will speak to that, exactly to use those funds to be able to do traffic calming and things of that sort.
Thank you.
Through the chair, if I could just add
Sure.
to the councilwoman, recently introduced ordinance 245, 2026, March 2nd, which would create a special fund, which would take 75% of net revenue of on-street parking and make those investments directly into safety and mobility needs citywide. So think about enhanced crosswalks, better lighting, bike infrastructure, things that we know neighborhoods need. Speed tables as well, absolutely, top of the list. And being able to take, our projections show about 1.5 million per year could go into this special fund that would make a significant difference across the city and in the areas that you're describing.
Thank you. And I do, want to also appreciate the chair and his, thinking about the affordability of our residents and making sure that these parking fees aren't hurting our small businesses. Sure. As a former small business owner, I can understand how this could impact, small businesses. But I also want to be mindful, that we don't leave any money on the table. Sure. And so I see the need for, intuitive parking, but also,
Sure.
that we're flexible and can make changes where needed, and that we're not just, these aren't set in stone.
Absolutely.
That's all. I yield, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Harsh?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I'm going to start the clock on me because I want to talk a little bit about how we got here. So I'm going to start my 10 minutes. For context to all of this, this has been the most educational ordinance I've worked on in the 4 years and 5 months I've been here, because it's a really good example of why we have to do really diligent work up front to make sure that the product that comes out the other end is what we are anticipating. And I want folks to know that most of my colleagues and I passed this originally under a very different impression of how rollout and enforcement was going to work. We thought we were adding a mobile option for those who wanted a mobile option for convenience sake. It was not my expectation that we would end the meter system or cash ability, and we'll come back to it, or end that option to residents. I thought this was going to be a convenience for the folks that like to do everything on their phone anyway, make it easier for them. What we've seen is the elimination of all meters downtown, the mayor making a video, an Instagram about it, and residents can no longer access parking on street in the traditional method. I had a neighbor of mine, senior citizen, go downtown, had to do something or other, couldn't find the pay station, had a flip phone, couldn't pay for the meter, got ticketed. And now he's paying the ticket because he just literally did not have the ability to pay for downtown street parking. I went downtown and I looked for the station to pay, and there was snow on it, and it's powered by a solar panel. And in Cleveland, it snows for a couple of months out of the year, and that pay station just didn't work. So the cash option was not going to exist for me that day. And we've made things less convenient for people that don't partake in the cell phone app-based economy, which is a lot of people who are equal citizens with equal rights to park on street in the city where they live like everybody else. And that really caused me to look at how we passed this in the first place. And I think what happened was we were looking at the pluses and not looking at the minuses when we were thinking about this a couple of years ago. And I won't make that mistake again. I will make sure that I'm here for all the conversations, that we're digging into all the potential unexpected outcomes. But one of the things that came up too when we were having a conversation about this was I'm very uncomfortable with the sort of surveillance state. This is coming up a lot. We're dealing with, in the flock camera, we're dealing with this, right? I got some of my facts wrong, but the basics of it were correct. In 1994, the federal government passed the DPPA, which was the Driver's Privacy Protection Act. It was passed in 1994. And it was passed because an actress was killed. I had the wrong murder victim, but an actress was killed by a stalker. The stalker got her home address by using her license plate and was able to pull up a database and figure out where she lived, went to her house and killed her. And the federal government in 1994 said that's not good. We should give people more privacy, and we should separate your license plate from your personal identity. And so if you take a license plate number and go on to any number of websites, AutoZone has them, where you can throw in a license plate, it'll tell you the make and model and year of the car, but it won't tell you who owns that car. You can get make and model off of a driver's plate, off a license plate, but not personal identification. And what Park Mobile does is gets people to volunteer that information into one data set. So you go to Park Mobile and you're like, here's my name and here's my license plate. You now have that data. You can now sell that data to anybody who wants to buy it, because Park Mobile owns their data. The city of Cleveland doesn't own that data. And so Park Mobile will then sell that data to whoever wants to buy it on the dark web or wherever they want to sell their data. But it is a really good example of how our race to convenience and to use the technology we have is causing us to slowly chip away at the privacies that people have come to expect. And it makes me really uncomfortable. And so through the chair, I did ask the administration if Park Mobile could make it so that you bought the spot, not the car. The same technology we use to enter your license plate number and your payment information, we could use to enter your parking location and payment information. You could say to Park Mobile, I'm parking in zone G, spot 73, and I'm paying for that spot. And Park Mobile could then report that that spot is paid for. The same way that you pay for a parking meter now, which covers the spot, not your car. Through the chair, did we have any conversations with Park Mobile about doing that?
So, they're not able to do it, or?
I assumed we didn't.
No,
Because
I believe I want to say we had the conversation, it's not possible, but.
yeah. So through the chair, I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that Park Mobile did not entertain that conversation because they don't make money selling the fact that Zone G, parking spot 73, was sold 5 times last week. They make money selling the license plate information of the people who parked in that spot. That's their back end revenue source. I'm going to put out there for everybody to think about, and I can already see Councilman Shaw getting excited about this one. The city of Cleveland could build our own app. We could build our own app that sells parking in the city of Cleveland, and you could buy it by the spot instead of by the license plate. I mean, there's an upfront cost on building the app, but I think we're spending $5 million on Park Mobile, so I can't imagine that building the app would cost more than $5 million. And by the way, I am going to support this, and I commend Chairman Bishop and all the work that you've done to make this a better ordinance. And I'm going to support this because I do not believe in making perfect the enemy of progress. But I'm going to put it out there and park it in your heads. If this keeps failing and doesn't work and we keep getting complaints, and God forbid somebody's identity is sold and harm comes to them because we're undoing a federal law we're not undoing a federal law, we're allowing people to voluntarily create the data set, then we will need to revisit this. And I would like to just remind everybody that we could potentially build an app that sells parking spaces in the city of Cleveland. Wouldn't be that terribly complicated. And if people wanted to use it, they could. So with that tirade finished, I'm going to end this way. The administration, I believe, is asking how much can we make off parking? City Council is asking how much should we make off parking? And I'm asking how should we make money off parking? And these are three different questions. I agree with my colleagues in changing the times, dialing it back, controlling the costs so that Clevelanders can afford to continue to come downtown. I don't like the idea of us creating new data sets to be sold in exchange for parking downtown. I think that that is wrong. You can pay in cash, and if you pay in cash, you're not going to have your identity tied to it. So if you pay in cash at one of the stations, you enter your license number, they're not going to know who paid cash. That's some measure of privacy that is available if you want to do that. That said, I'm glad that we've made these changes that we have made. I see it as progress. I think it's better. But I just wanted to say that because I think it's part of a larger conversation we're having about digital dragnets and how much data should be collected on citizens and who should have that data and what should they do with it. And personally, I learned a lot from this ordinance and made some mistakes that I will not be making moving forward. So, Mr. Chair, I will be ready to read the amendments whenever you are ready for me to do that. But thank you, and I yield my last minute and a half back to the chair.
All right, thank you, Councilman Harsh. I'm going to go to Councilman Shaw.
Thank you, Chair. And absolutely, always I love the idea of us owning our own infrastructure, whatever that may be. I had a couple, so I know there's been a lot of back and forth and a lot of discussions that predated my time on council. So I wanted to understand through the chair to director, to commissioners, as of right now, what the proposed amendments are. Is the administration in support of them? Like, where does this back and forth stand as of right now?
Through the chair to the councilman, I will say this: if we had our way, we keep it the way it is. But we understand that's not the world we're in, and we understand that the vision that that Councilman Bishop has and the importance of it. So we're willing to work with it, and we can work through all these things. I think also in time, it does give us the ability to see where we are, what's happening, and if we need to come back to the table and talk about how we can adjust it, we can do that as well. I'm, as long as I've been, doing work with the city, I understand you have to work across the table. You got to work with each other, so we can work through these things. I'll say this is not exactly everything we wanted, but I think we can work through it. Absolutely.
So you're okay with this amendments that we've now come to?
Through the chair to the councilman, yes, we can work through those.
Okay, that helps. I obviously haven't followed this as closely as I know some of my other council members that have more of these impacted areas, and I want to weigh in. I want to consider, of course, the impact their residents will be feeling because they're the ones that are hearing the most of it, such as what Councilman Starr has already mentioned, and I know Councilman Davis as well as. I wanted to understand a little more about the pay stations within 600 feet. I don't know if I should direct this to perhaps Council O'Leary through the chair. Why? So my understanding as of right now, we already have pay stations where people can pay with cash. What is the additional motivation for having it at every 600 feet? If you could speak to that, or I don't know if Chair Bishop wanted to address that. I wanted to understand that portion.
Through the chair to the councilman, that was a change that we added and the administration has agreed to because while there are pay stations where you can pay with cash and coin, there aren't enough. And we don't want people to have to walk, 10 blocks to go pay some cash. So we came up with the 600 feet from a parking space as I believe it's about 1 to 1.5 blocks.
Is that,
it's still not really close.
Is there any current spots that are actually 10 blocks, or was that just figures?
No, that was
Oh,
just.
what's the furthest right now that
So,
folks have to travel?
Through the
Do we
chair
know?
to the councilman, we have a map, just kind of give you an idea of their proximities. So I think right now we're kind of meeting that goal as we sit today.
What's the furthest walk that we have right now with the amount of pay stations that we have? Do we know?
I believe, based on the analysis that we did, I don't think there's anything that's like over 1,000 feet, like 900 to 1,000 feet, I think was the number currently.
I see. So we're reducing about 400 feet with these additional ones.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
Based on our initial analysis, we felt like we would need to add about 37 new pay stations. But that number may have changed because, of course, we had mentioned that some of the zones we've taken offline, so we won't be charging within some of the zones. So we may be able to reallocate some of those pay stations more closely to help get to that 600 foot.
I see. And then, so is that still accurate? I think in your presentation or one of the documents indicated the additional cost for these pay stations is going to be close to $250,000. Is that still accurate?
I would say that's accurate. It may be a little less if we don't have to hit that 37 pay station, but it'll be somewhere in that range.
Okay. So this is to me, that's a significant upfront investment as well on these additional pay stations to save folks a few minutes. I'm not sure if I'm sold on to save folks 400 feet of walking. We upfront are putting in $250,000. And can you talk a little more about those pay stations? Are those going to be owned by the city? Do we have any control, or is that owned by Park Mobile? How does that relationship and ownership of those stations work? If you could explain that. I don't know who would want to explain that.
So through the chair to the councilman, and I do want to ask if Commissioner Johnson, because she can speak a lot more on the pay stations, if that's okay to have her.
Come on up, Commissioner.
But from my understanding that these pay, we do own these pay stations once we have them, but we pay an annual maintenance fee for things. If it breaks, if things goes down, that's paid for. But that is my understanding of the pay stations.
That's a separate fee we would pay annually
We
for
pay annually,
maintenance?
yes. We pay annually for maintenance.
Do we know ballpark how much that maintenance fee is?
The annual maintenance fee for each of the machines is about $350 a year.
Per station?
But that's for the first 3 years. Some of the pay stations that we have right now, will be paying closer to $1,000 because there's an additional fee for those.
Wow. So we're going to be paying, past 3 years, you're saying $1,000
That's
per
correct.
station
That's correct.
every year going forward after the first 3 years are up?
After the first 3 years. It's 600 up to 3, and then we pay an additional almost $400.
And that's just to service, maintain, make sure that they're operating?
It's for the back office, so that we can get all the data that we need, and plus the operational systems and things of that nature.
And can we change who's the contractor or vendor for that?
Flowbird is the manufacturer of those pay stations.
And that's who we would pay?
That is correct.
So what do we own if we're paying them $1,000 for that every year?
Pardon me?
I guess what is the point of the ownership then if we're still paying that subscription-based model then?
So, Councilman,
Through the
Council
chair,
Chair
sure.
to the councilman, we receive one of the benefits of not having those coin-operated meters anymore is that we are able to get some of the data
Sure.
that we're having all these conversations about. And so for that, there's a back office system that we use the processing of each of these transactions through credit or by coin that they're using. These are all the maintenance and the service and the operational benefits that we're receiving from those maintenance fees.
Okay. And if it's per station, if this is passed, does the administration have an estimate on what our annual cost is just to maintain and keep these stations? I know you said it's $1,000 per station, but what's the all combined total? I don't know how many stations we have.
So presently, we have 80 pay stations right now.
And we're
we'll be purchasing some additional pay stations.
up to potentially 37, you said?
That's correct.
So we're looking at over $100,000 just in maintenance fees for these pay stations
That is-
annually?
Through the chair to the councilman, that is correct.
Okay. And that is separate from the amount we are paying Park Mobile for the ability to use that infrastructure in the app, is that correct?
Yep. Through the chair to the, it's 35 cents per transaction.
Chair to the councilman, the city does not pay Park Mobile a fee for Park Mobile. There's a transaction fee that's paid by the customer.
I see.
So we do not pay any fee for
And it's about, you said 35 cents
35 cents, that's
per transaction?
per transaction.
But that can be, is that an annual contract? Can that be changed by Park Mobile at any point? At what percent of cut they get?
That is subject to change based upon, we have a 3-year with 2 1-year options.
Okay.
And they do have the ability to change that rate
And-
in those option years.
Thank you. And do we have the ability to change who that vendor is? So let's say in the future, 2-3 years down the line, Park Mobile says we want $1 of every cut. Can we change the vendors? Or are these stations in the model we've set up, does it tie us to Park Mobile indefinitely?
Council, Chair to the councilman, there are other app providers. I think that working with Park Mobile and having your residents in the community be very familiar with that equipment and the service is an important consideration whenever we're looking at, if we were to look at that, but that is possible because there are other providers.
Okay. And I hear you on, we want to have consistency for our residents so that they can adjust and they can predict, but at the same time, we obviously don't want to have our residents be price gouged if in the future that Park Mobile decides to change the terms unilaterally. So I want to make sure we're not tying ourselves to an indefinite partnership where we don't have that equal controller leverage. So that helps. Thank you.
And
I don't know if you had, I didn't want to cut you off.
if I could just add one other thing, in our agreement, Council Chair to the councilman, is that we included in the agreement that they could not increase that fee more than 3%.
More than 3% annually?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, that helps. But also, like, over 3 years, they could also raise it to almost 9%. Right. Okay. So that's good. Thank you for that. And I wanted to understand another question for the administration. I don't know if perhaps Mr. Reeves is able to answer this, of what is the amount of change that we're anticipating if this amendment is to pass with the revenue for this fund? Does that, what I'm asking make sense?
Are you asking for the revenue projection?
Yeah.
The revenue
How does
projection
this
would change
impact
to
our
the chair?
revenue projections from the parking?
I think just due to the time constraints on coming to agreement around these, we would need some time to reforecast.
Okay.
But I do think that the changes are first and foremost beneficial. I think, you know, the conversation today, I think, proves that out. These are good changes that I think will materially impact a large group of stakeholders. And I think the changes with respect to both the range of fees that we can charge and also the time that we can enforce, they certainly will have an effect on overall revenue. But I don't think it's something that you know is significant enough that we would want to hold up some positive changes.
Do the math again.
Yeah. Through the chair to the councilman, it could be a number of, it could be a volume issue, right? Like maybe volume increases, right? Because we get more parkers. So it's kind of hard to say it's absolutely going to be this number because we are, you know, it's not necessarily really it's more of a competitive kind of thing as opposed to elastic, right? It's inelastic, I'm sorry. It's probably more elastic than it is inelastic.
Sure,
So
I understand.
with volume, you might be able to get that back. So we just don't know.
Maybe the potential of a downtown golf course might offset our losing the Brown Stadium, right? Is that just
through the chair to the councilman,
fair enough. I appreciate that. I think I want to just go back to in the presentation. I know you had a portion. Can you just go over again what's the the data shows us what % of folks are coming in from out of town versus Clevelanders. If you could, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think so. One of the pieces of analysis that we were interested in was where folks are coming from, who are using our parking system. And so what these numbers are showing, this is first quarter data that's coming in. But I think perhaps unsurprisingly in some ways, but downtown and Ohio City, so these numbers relate to both those areas, are very destinational in terms of folks that want to access those neighborhoods. But what we're seeing is about 76% of all transactions downtown are coming from outside the city of Cleveland. And 73% of transactions in Ohio City are coming from outside the city of Cleveland. Some additional information that I've been conversing with Councilman Davis on related to Ohio City is that about 11% on top of that 73% within Ohio City are coming from Ohio City zip codes, which would mean that the balance of that would be coming from other Clevelanders who are visiting Ohio City.
I see. Okay. I know my time is up, so I won't go much longer. But I think just going back to, once again, thinking about, I know oftentimes so many of the things we want to create or build in our city comes down to the money for it. And this is a potential revenue stream. We shouldn't treat it as any differently, right? I know there's all these considerations of what we want to do, but this is a valuable revenue stream potentially, and we should be honest about who we're going to be charging and who's going to be burdened with this cost. And for me, I'm always looking at making sure that residents of Cleveland do not have to burden that cost. And some of these data points help with that and making clear that right now, a majority of the folks that are driving into downtown, utilizing these spaces, are not living in Cleveland. And, you know, to me, help support the argument that I'm okay with having a larger fee for that. Because once again, these are public spaces that car users are, to me, the public transit riders, bike riders, all of them are subsidizing car users because we're allowing them to park at much cheaper rates than what they would otherwise. So with that, I yield, Chair. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Councilman Shaw. I'm going to go to Councilman Casey next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to whomever can answer, I just want to try to wrap my arms around the city's financial situation regarding parking. We'll say somebody parks for an hour and pays $8, correct? We know that 35 cents of that goes for Park Mobile for the transaction, correct? Or goes to the city for the transaction? Just anybody.
Council Chair to the Councilman, the fee would be $8.35.
Okay, so the fee would be, so if somebody, okay, so the 35 cents is in addition to whatever the parking rate. Of the $8 that the people are charged, how much comes to the city? Does the whole $8 go to the city, or does anybody else?
Council Chair to the Councilman, the entire $8 comes to the city.
Okay, and then the 35 cents goes to Park Mobile. That's what Park Mobile makes. So Park Mobile makes 35 cents off of each transaction. All right. To date, since I believe you have first quarter stats, Mr. Chairman, to whomever, how many transactions have there been in the first quarter of this year alone?
Through the chairman to the councilman, I don't want to take too much time in answering your question. I don't have the exact number. We can get that for you, absolutely. But think of it as we're averaging 80,000 transactions per month.
So roughly 320,000 transactions, give or take, in the first quarter. Or 240,000 transactions. So in order just to maintain the stations, right, at $100,000 a year roughly, you need roughly 285,000. So the first quarter should cover the cost of the 100,000 for our maintaining of our stations, correct?
Councilman to, yes.
And then that is all of the infrastructure maintenance that we have, correct? So that would mean that the other 3/4 of the year would be profit, because the $100,000, we're just saying the $100,000 a year for Park Mobile to maintain the stations, right? That's the only cost to the city for this. Am I correct?
Chair to the councilman, besides if there is a need to replace a part or if the
Okay,
equipment is
so,
damaged
okay.
in some way.
So what was last year's parking profit for the city of Cleveland?
Through the chair to the councilman, profit or revenue?
I'm gonna ask both.
Okay.
So both, revenue and then the profit.
Chair to the councilman, I do not have that information with me. We could get that for you.
Can we make sure that we have that before this moves to, if it's going to move
Absolutely.
to committee of the whole or anything like that? And then my last question is, Councilman Shaw brought up about, and the chairman brought up about Clevelanders, correct? And looking out for the best interest of Clevelanders. Does anybody happen to just know, and we know that Clevelanders are a very small, minute number of Clevelanders flying to Burke. Does anybody know how much it costs to park at Burke, an airplane?
Through the chair to the councilman, that might be an airport's question.
Well, I'm going to tell you. It's $5 a day to park an aircraft at Burke for a plane that's under 10,000 pounds. It's $100 for a plane over 10,000 pounds. I don't know how big a plane is that would be 100,000. So as we're sitting on this side of the table talking about parking and looking out for Clevelanders and talking about $1 or $3, I believe that maybe parking needs to have a conversation with Burke as well. Because if we're parking planes in downtown Cleveland for $5 an hour for 24 hours, but yet we want to charge residents or anybody else $1 to $3 an hour or $8 an hour or 24, whatever we're going to charge, do on the special events, something seems off, right? If you can afford to fly a plane into Burke, you should probably be able to afford more than $5 for 24 hours to park your plane at Burke. Just since we're talking parking, again, just a source of revenue, and are we don't have the scales tipped in a balanced way when a plane can park at Burke for 24 hours for $5, but somebody can't park for an hour downtown for less than that.
Understood.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Councilman Casey. I'm going to go to Councilwoman Gray.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just have a couple of questions. Moving forward with your with the smart app and also Park Mobile, Chair to the team, we know that you're going to implement more of these smart apps throughout certain areas and other areas in the wards, per se. The ward that I have, which is part of Shaker Boulevard, going to east and west of Shaker Boulevard on east side. That is owned by the city.
Sure.
The quads are owned by NPI.
Yep.
So I know that I had the conversation with Commissioner Kim Johnson.
Yes.
She had previous meetings with me pertaining to those smart apps will be coming to Shaker Boulevard.
So through the
Will they?
I'm sorry.
Director to the chair to whoever want to answer
So
that.
through the chair to the councilwoman, I'll take a stab and I'll let the commissioner clean it up. But as far as the implementation of what we're talking about here, I believe this ordinance says that the council has to give the okay for us to do that.
To move forward in other areas.
Now, as far as when it comes to the app itself, anybody can use the app in any place, anywhere. Right. So as long as there's zones set up there that could be used, but as far as us being able to reach out into those new zones, I believe this ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, says that we have to get council approval to do that. But I will let Commissioner, if you want to what I said about the.
I'm just,
the park
okay,
mobile?
thank you for that, because Ms. Commissioner just had conversations,
Yep.
meetings with me prior to the move of the smart apps.
Council Chair, to the council woman, the issue for Shaker Square is that there was a company there that wanted to establish a Park Mobile zone of their own. They wanted to enter into a separate agreement with Park Mobile to provide that service in an area that is not operated by the city of Cleveland. And so we were having a conversation about whether or not
Okay.
we could work together, because we have the street and they have the square. And so we still need to solidify how that could happen and how you would like to proceed in that manner.
Okay, so so this will be a future conversation. It's not going to happen in the immediate, because we know we got a lot of other work that's being done in that area.
Yep.
So I just want to just bring that point up. That was the fruit, okay.
Yep, through the chair to the councilman, yeah, that is down the road.
Down the road.
My understanding that if based upon, and you all can correct me, but based upon the information that I've read in this ordinance, if we have that conversation after June 1st, then we're going to have to pass an ordinance to enact the change that you're looking for at Shaker Square. We're
Okay.
going to have to come back to this body.
We come back to the
pass an
table for this.
ordinance in order to do that.
Okay.
Yes, through the chair, that's correct. If it's a new parking meter zone.
It's a new parking
But
meter
you
zone.
can approve it by ordinance.
Okay, that's true. And also, just to say that, and I'm glad to hear that, because I did have a small conversation with Chair as well, but to say that is also to look at the park mobiles too, for the cash app, because everybody don't, like I said, all the colleagues also presented that smart app is not good for everybody, but to look at down the road, a park mobile would be great to be implemented somewhere in that area too, because folks are not adjusted to the smart app, but we'll talk about that down the road. And my second final question, Chair, to the team, has anybody ever considered the disability, the disabled? Because I know when I do come downtown and I park downtown, which I don't have a problem parking downtown because I already know what to come. You have a lot of the disabled parking meters, and the signs are up everywhere. How this would affect the disabled per se, as in fees or how they use the app, or has that been considered, for them? Chair, to the team.
So through the chair to the councilwoman, anything that happens now for those who have a disability, the same things will be in place. We have not thought about doing anything in addition to on the app, if that's your question. For that's been something that we've not thought about or talked about. I don't know about the capabilities of the company that we work with to do those kind of things, but as far as the logistics and on the ground day to day, that will stay the same.
Okay. All right, Chair, that was it.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman Gray. I'm going to go back to Councilman Casey.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, to whomever, valets, right? So the valet permits that are issued by the city of Cleveland, are there any public spaces reserved for valets downtown or in the neighborhoods?
Through the chair, the council member, no, there are no reserved on-street parking spaces other than the valet zone that's created. They're required to park off-street.
So, okay, so do we know how much a permit is, Mr. Chairman, to Rob, how much a valet permit is?
Yeah, through the chair, the council member, it's $100 per year.
$100 per year. And do we know how much space is taken up? Because I'm just thinking to myself, going up East 9th is a disaster, heading up toward Carnegie. right, from the 9 and whatever's next door to it and all that other stuff, how much space is taken up on city streets in valet zone?
Through the chair of the council member, generally when it's on street, it's 2 to 3 spaces. When they have a pull off, it's generally longer. I think the Nines has its own pull off, but they do spill out into East 9th Street, similar to the Hilton. But generally speaking, 2 to 3 spaces per valet zone.
And do we know, Mr. Chairman, Rob, do we know who enforces that? Because that's not happening, right? I
Through
mean,
the chair,
valet zones in the city of Cleveland are a mess.
Yeah, through the chair, they're probably not enforced as much as they ought to be. I know the Bureau of Traffic does do some enforcement during peak hours, but maybe not throughout the evening.
Mr. Chairman DeTangi, does your department enforce that? Is that parking or would that be CPD?
To the chair, to the councilman, primarily it is through through the Bureau of Traffic.
To the Cleveland Police Department?
That's correct.
Okay, so does your parking enforcement downtown is not enforced by our I don't know what we call them, ticket writers? That they're not enforced by that?
Yes, we also enforce as well, but primarily a lot of that goes through the police, and we work together.
Okay, so we're going to ask for the number of enforcement tickets that have been issued by Cleveland Police Department as well as traffic engineering. That $100 or traffic enforcement, that $100, Mr. Chairman, to Director Laird, whoever, who gets that money? Does that money go back into streets?
Through the chair of the council member, I believe that's a revenue stream in our budget.
In your budget?
Traffic, yeah, traffic's budget.
Okay, and then do we know where, Mr. Chairman, to Rob, Director, where valet parking occurs? I mean, do we know where they take the cars? Do they take them to private lots or do they take them?
Through the chair of the council member, they're required to provide that information. I believe it's on their valet permit. I'll verify that and we can find that out. But we have a roster of locations and where the valet zones do exist.
All right, so just to recap, we have no public parking, correct, for valet zones?
That's correct.
For valets. So I'm not just saying the zone, I'm saying wherever the valets are taking the cars to, correct?
Correct.
That's all off-street parking?
Correct.
Okay, can we get then a list of all the valet zones and where they're supposed to be taking the cars to?
Through the chair, yes.
All right, I just want to know if it's, with the increase in the amount that it's taking downtown in these special districts, is it cheaper just to valet your car at some place as opposed to trying to find on-street parking, right? I don't know what valets cost, but we need to see if that's a revenue maker for the city or if it's just a business thing too. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Councilman Casey. So the administration has sent over some amendments this morning for this ordinance, and I am going to reject those amendments, and I'm going to City Council has its amendments. So I'm going to go to Councilman Chris Harsh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to proffer the following amendments. Should we do these all at once? We have a red mark on the tablet if anybody wants to follow along.
Yeah, do them all at once.
Do the whole thing at once or group by section?
Through the chair, as they're written, it's kind of by subject matter, so thought it'd be easier to just vote by subject.
Okay.
But it's up to you.
So we'll do this 5 separate times? And
No, we'll do them all at once. Let's do them all
here
at
we
once.
go. So first one, motion to amend section 453.01B in part to read B, the Director of Public Works is authorized to charge and cause to be collected the payment required in parking meter zones, such charges and fees ranging from $1 per hour to $3 per hour and up to $8 per hour during special events in special event zones described below in the downtown parking area. Motion to amend section 453.01B 1 and 2 to read, the days and times the director is authorized to charge for parking shall be as follows. 1, in the downtown parking area Monday through Saturday from 7 a.m. until 10 p.m., Sundays only during special events, and new Section 2, outside of the downtown parking area Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. until 8 p.m. Okay. Motion to amend motion to amend to add section 453.01C to read in subheader 3 in special event zones described below Monday through Saturday the following. 1. Gateway special event zones includes Prospect Avenue between West 3rd Street and West 2nd Street, Prospect Avenue between East 9th Street and East 14th Street, West 2nd Street between Prospect Avenue and West Huron Road, West Huron Road between West 6th Street and Ontario Street, Huron Road East between Prospect Avenue and Euclid Avenue, and Carnegie Avenue between East 9th Street and East 14th Street. 2. Lakefront Special Event Zone includes East 12th Street between South Marginal Road and St. Clair Avenue Northeast, East 17th Street between Lakeside Avenue East and St. Clair Avenue Northeast, Lakeside Avenue East between East 9th Street and East 17th Street, St. Clair Avenue Northeast between East 9th Street and East 17th Street, Hamilton Avenue between East 13th Street and East 17th Street. Motion to amend section 453.01C and section 403.04A in part to read under subheader C. The divisions of this section shall not apply to vehicles parking upon the street of the city Monday through Saturday between the hours of 10 p.m. until 7 a.m. the following morning, and Sundays except during special events in the downtown parking area, and between the hours of 6 p.m. until 7 a.m. the following mornings and Saturdays and Sundays outside of the downtown parking area. Section 403.04A, except as provided herein and in Chapter 451, no regulation adopted pursuant to Section 403.03 shall limit the time of parking nor prohibit parking Monday through Saturdays between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. the following day upon streets or parts of streets within the downtown parking area. Okay, last one. Motion to amend Section 403.0610 in part to add any parking meter zone established after June 1st, 2026 shall be approved by ordinance of council. Give it a second.
All right, thank you, Councilman Harsh. Councilman Harsh has a amendment on the table. Is there a second? Councilman Casey seconds it. Go ahead.
Real quick, before you vote, because we changed the outside of downtown parking at the last minute until 7 to 8 p.m., then we need to change 453.01C to 8 p.m. as well. I mean, it's a technical change.
Okay,
So
all right.
just want to make that clear.
Duly noted. So you want to reread that section? What did he say? Section what now?
453.01C. Yeah, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Mr. Chair, I believe I can do that.
Okay, go ahead.
So, through the chair, the motion to amend section 453.01C and section 403.04A should read, instead of between the hours of 6 p.m. until 7 a.m., should read between the hours of 8 p.m. until 7 a.m.
All right.
We got that? Okay.
All right. The law department have that? All right, so Councilman Harsh has a motion on the floor. Can I get a second? Councilman Casey seconds it. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on the amendment? Yes.
Yes.
All right, the amendment carries. All right, so ordinance number 522, 2026 as amended. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll on the final ordinance? Is there, first let me say, is there any objections to ordinance number 522, 2026? No objections? Go ahead.
Remember, through the chair, when I said at the beginning that it was pointed out to me that there was another agreement to change outside the downtown parking area to $1 per hour to $3 per hour. Are we entertaining that?
Yes, we're gonna, so that's another amendment, correct?
That would be added to section 453.01B.
Okay. Councilman, you got that?
And
It's only $8 for special events and special event zones. So
through the chair, this is the part that currently reads, it's not on the amendment sheet because it was a add-on.
Okay.
It's the part underneath the downtown parking area where it says $1 per hour for up to 8 hours and up to $3 per hour after 8 hours. It's being proposed that that be changed. This is in the neighborhoods outside of the downtown parking area. It's being proposed that it be changed from $1 per hour to $3 per hour, simply. And that's something.
I'm sorry, through the chair, what section are you in, looking at? 453.01.
453.01B.
B.
So it's the First Amendment that's on the sheet, and on your red line,
Yeah.
you can, it's not an area that we had changed before.
So currently, for clarity, the 453.01B reads, the Director of Public Works is authorized to charge and cause to be collected the payment required in parking meter zones, such charges and fees ranging from $1 per hour to $3 per hour, and up to $8 per hour during special events and special event zones described below.
Through the chair to the councilman, I know this is confusing. That's about the downtown parking area. We've already proposed that amendment.
Okay.
But now we're proposing a new amendment that is changing the range of payment for outside the downtown parking area. So it's what's,
B2.
it's in just section B. If it'd be easier to look at the red line document.
I am.
Okay, thank you. So further down in paragraph B,
Yeah.
where it says, it's talking about outside the downtown parking area.
Right.
And it says $1 per hour for up to 8 hours and up to $3 an hour after 8 hours outside the downtown parking area. The proposal is that that be changed to $1 per hour to $3 per hour, a range, just like downtown. $3 per hour and up to $3. $1 per hour to $3 per hour.
So through
Instead of having the $1 for 8 hours and then 8 hours, and then $8 after the 8 hours is over. It would just be a range of $1 to $3 outside downtown, in the neighborhoods.
So through the
Sorry,
chair,
this wasn't really my amendment, but I'm trying to
Okay.
make it
All right.
based on a last minute change.
So the amendment would be in the downtown parking lot area.
Outside of the downtown parking area to change the language to a range of $1 per hour.
But that language appears before the language of outside the downtown parking area.
Correct,
So
correct.
it would need to read in the downtown parking area, blah, 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 and $1 per hour up to $3 per hour after 8 hours outside the downtown parking area. We're taking out up to 8 hours. That would be, the amendment would be to delete the up to 8 hours so that it caps at the 3 period. The idea is to cap parking per hour at $3 outside of downtown. Is that the
Correct.
spirit we're
I
getting
think
at?
conceptually we have the amendment. We would, yes, it would just say $1 per hour to $3 per hour.
Right.
And we
So,
would be striking the language that says, you know,
for up to 8
up
hours.
to 8 hours.
Right.
And $1 for the first 8 hours, and replacing that with just $1 per hour to $3
Right.
per hour.
So the amendment would be in section 453.01B, roughly line 5. We're going to start with in the downtown parking area and $1 per hour up to $3 per hour outside of the downtown parking, striking the words I skipped. So we're striking for up to 8 hours and is being struck. so that it simply reads $1 per hour up to $3 per hour, and then we're striking after 8 hours. I don't, we'll get there.
Let me just read it back to you to make sure I
read
have
it
it.
back.
So beginning in the downtown parking area and $1 per hour to $3 per hour outside the downtown parking area.
Yeah, that is correct. I would say $1 per hour
And
up
up
to
to.
$3 per
and
hour
up to.
outside the downtown parking area. That is correct.
Okay, I have that.
We got it. Mr. Chair, we got it. I motion the amendment I just.
Okay, Councilman Hirsch has another amendment on the floor. Is there a second? Second. Councilman Gray seconds it. Yes. All in favor of the amendment, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay. Councilman Casey opposed? Is there any discussion? Councilman Casey? No, I voted. Okay. All right, the ayes have it. All right, so Madam Clerk, can you call a roll on ordinance number 522, 2026 as amended? Yes.
Yes.
It is on the legislation. All right. Is there any other questions on ordinance number 522, 2026 as amended? All right. Ordinance number 522, 2026 is approved. Please sign it. And as of that, I'm going to hereby adjourn the Municipal Service and Properties Committee to the next call of the chair. Please sign the legislation before you leave.